The following program is a collection of stooges talking about happenings in the sports world. It is meant to be comedic informative. The opinions expressed on this show do not necessarily reflect the beliefs of their peers, their boss, or ESPN. There may be some cuss words because that's how humans in the real world talk. If you are young, please seek permission before watching any further.
Hey.
Why?
Let's go.
This show stinks, and the fact that you listen, we are very, very thankful for it.
McAfee on the line with a gorgeous assist.
The all-time leading tackler for the Green Bay Packers.
You ping.
Stop!
Damn it!
Your friend tell a friend something nice could change their life. Hello, beautiful people, and welcome to our humble abode, the Thunderdome, on this St. Paddy's Madness Monday, March 17th, 2025. This program starts now.
Paddy!
That's right, a lad from Ireland way back in the day who eliminated all the snakes from Ireland. We celebrate the shit out of him today. Happy St. Patrick's Day to everybody on Earth. Obviously, it's a holiday that is supposed to revolve around having a good time, celebrating life, and maybe having a booze cocktail or two.
Right.
Maybe a little green beer, maybe smoke a little green tree. Have the time of your life, and in memory of not only St. Patrick, but your Irish friends who like to enjoy the shit out of life. Now, I'm not saying life is always good for the Irish folks. They've been a very blue-collar crew since the very beginning. And if you look at the history of what the Irish have done for the United States of America, I think people would have a lot more respect for what the Irish have done and what they've built and who they fought for and how they fought for this particular country. But on this St. Patrick's Day, all we say is Salancha, and we hope you all get a chance to enjoy life for a little bit in honor of your Irish brethren. Now, with that being said, we decided to stay in the blue-collar jeans, and we have two Italians on today, okay? Two of the greatest Italians in sports history. Coach Izzo of Michigan State, greatness, icon, obviously, for the Spartans, will be joining us in the next hour. And the godfather of New York, Coach Pitino of St. Johnny's. The Rise of the Red Storm on Vice is currently electrifying. He'll be joining us in about 19 minutes or so. And then at 12:40, we'll have the commissioner of the SEC, Greg Sankey. Okay, he's got 14 teams in the tournament. Nobody's pumped. That's a record in the history of the tourney. How many teams did they have like 10 years ago? Like 6 or something like that. 4 maybe. Then they got 8. Then they were down to 6. Then post-COVID, you start looking at the numbers of how much the SEC has invested in basketball. Now they have a record 14 teams in the NCAA tournament, which is obviously a record. Can't wait to talk to Sankey about that and let him know everybody's pissed.
Yep.
Everybody's pissed. No league is good enough to have 14 teams in the tournament is what people are saying on the internet and around the world. But also most people were saying West Virginia got screwed. West Virginia, the Mountaineers. Now, listen, has it been the highest of highs for the Mountaineers over the last 5-10 years in sports? Our rifle team just won another national championship.
Boom!
How you doing? Keep it moving. Our gymnastics team, I believe, is a top 40 program on earth. There's other sports that are obviously soccer team dominating both men's and women's. So you talk about sports at West Virginia, there's been a lot of success. But at the men's basketball, men's football, there hasn't been, the national moment for a while. And I think that was held against us. Coach DeVries, now there's a lot of future conversation about him maybe leaving West Virginia, which sucks completely because he and his son, came into West Virginia in the city, in the state, in the university. Really love these two. They're saying he's going to leave. I'm hoping he doesn't. I'm hoping that he has a little bit of an axe to grind because how this season ended. But they held against us that his son, his boy, got hurt. His boy got hurt whenever Rich Rod's introductory press conference happened. That was 2 months ago, 3 months ago. Yeah. And they used that against him for going into the tournament. Now, with that being said, in football, obviously, Florida State was on like their 4th-string quarterback, 3rd-string quarterback. That all happened like the last games of the year, like boom, bang, pow. Everything happened. This has been like a long time this kid hasn't been playing. And in 111 of these so-called bracketologist specials people, you get it.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yep.
West Virginia was in the tournament. Now, it wouldn't have been a high seeding, obviously. We should have played a lot better throughout the season and, certainly had a little bit of a get-back, a setback. And we didn't do well in the Big 12 tournament either, lost very early. But in 111 of these so-called experts brackets, we were in. West Virginia was in. First time ever a team has been in all 111 bracketologist brackets and didn't make the tournament. So, obviously, they're holding something against West Virginia. That is just another chip on the shoulder. Obviously, it's bullshit. We don't love it. We don't like it. Play better. You're in, definitely. But nonetheless, West Virginia will be back. Okay? West Virginia will be back on top in all the big sports. And it starts with a football program. Will that start next fall? We're not sure. Will that be in the next 2 years? I believe it. And this West Virginia basketball team obviously had a great year this year. Not good enough. I had a good year this year. Not a great year this year. In the conversation to make the top 68 is, you can't be getting too upset in that entire thing. Mm-hmm. But with that being said, West Virginia got screwed. And do you know who benefited from all this?
Who's that?
The University of North Carolina, who I think we're all starting to hate.
I guess.
Are we all starting to hate University of North Carolina?
I think so.
Is this just because of what happened? So, riddle me this. The athletic director of UNC, Bubba Cunningham, okay, Big Bubba. And obviously his name came up because I think he wasn't the biggest fan of Mac Brown. Mac Brown was the head coach of the football team. What does Bubba want versus what does the chancellors want? Bubba's name has been, through the tabloids and the headlines, we shall say, especially whenever you're the athletic director of a program, esteemed program like University of North Carolina, especially in that Tar Heel blue with Jordan and everything they got going on. People are going to talk about Bubba Cunningham, especially when your name is Bubba. That's not a very normal athletic director name. Got Bubba calling the shots down there in North Carolina. Well, everybody's saying Bubba did call a shot. Bubba was the head of the selection committee chair, whatever the hell it is, and he also gets a $104,000 bonus if North Carolina makes it in the tournament. Bubba's made a lot of money. Okay, Bubba's made a lot of money, but a $104,000 check coming around, that's not a bad thing to take place. It's hard not to automatically say, well, this seems to be a little bit contrived, doesn't it? The last team in that got in over, I think there's multiple teams that are not necessarily thrilled. Indiana was the second team out. Now, once again, play better. I'm pissed off about it too. Hoosiers are a basketball place. Now, granted, Cignetti's got them playing great football as well. Could be a fantastic sport university. Not making the tournament sucks, but UNC makes it over them, and they have a gripe as well. Obviously, West Virginia's pissed, and then Bubba's sitting up there, chair of the whole thing, get a $104,000 bonus because of this. It's hard not to be like, you cook the books. Hey, Bubba, I've met some Bubbas before. They weren't above cooking the books, okay? And I know you are probably a fantastic athletic director. Congratulations on getting Bill Belichick down there. That's a big play. They've also said that you guys are all in. Obviously, football-wise, that was a part of Bill Belichick going there. So I assume there's some good that you have done, and I'm sure you are respected by a lot of North Carolina people. But I'll tell you what we think at West Virginia. We think this crooked son of a bitch won in there, and he said he wasn't in the room when North Carolina was being talked about. Okay, were you in a room when West Virginia was getting talked about? Did North Carolina get brought up when West Virginia was getting talked about? Because if it doesn't, then I don't think you guys are doing your job properly. So nonetheless, Bubba, I know it's a hard job. I know we're talking about 64 to 68 here, although there's automatic bids of teams. Like everybody's mad North Carolina's going to get in. Then I saw the same people on CBS Sports that were upset about it say they're going to beat San Diego State. So, not supposed to be in the tournament, but also about to probably win their first round. I'm not saying that's guaranteed. I'm saying that's been the chatter. So there is madness already begun in March, and people of West Virginia aren't happy.
No. Not at all.
People of Indiana aren't happy.
Nope.
And that happens to be a large part of my Rolodex. So I got a lot of texts from people saying, you going to be a coward tomorrow? And because ESPN's the one making these decisions. You think ESPN wants Bubba Cunningham to look good? That's what you think? Why do you think that is the case? Why do you think they want to put over the ACC now over everybody else when I thought all they want to do was put over the SEC? Well, they do want to put over the SEC. That's why they got 14 teams in there. It's like, okay, who are we pissed at?
Yeah.
Are we pissed at Sankey? Are we pissed at ESPN? Are we pissed at Bubba? Are we pissed at the committee? I'll get to the bottom of it because fuck everybody.
Sure.
Now, with that being said, go Johnnies.
Go Johnny. Come on now.
Go Johnnies.
Red Storm's coming.
St. John's team won the Big East. Hey, who was the team that won the last couple Big Easts, and what did they go on to do? Let's go to the talks table at Boston Connor. Happy St. Patty's. Who won the Big East the past couple years?
That'd be UConn, and happy St. Patty's Day to you too, Pat.
Thank you. And then UConn would do what?
I believe, if memory serves me right, and granted it is St. Patrick's Day, so we've been making fun of Italians and drinking beers all morning, but
okay.
I believe they went on to win every single game by 10-plus points on their way to back-to-back national titles.
So is that what St. John's going to do? We shall chat with Pitino here Coach Pitino in about 12 minutes or so. Ty Schmidt, I know there's some people in the back that are saying the Big Ten. I got a chance to go down and watch.
Sure.
Big Ten basketball, something. Michigan back on top. Congrats to the Big Ten champs, Michigan. You guys fired your coach. Allegedly, you guys are going to take West Virginia's coach, bring him back to Iowa. I hope you don't do that. Obviously, the guy's building something special over there. Supposed to be a Mountaineer, but if he was to go back home, everybody would be like, yeah, this is all always going to happen. That whole conversation. Big Ten basketball, though. Michigan State's the team we got to hope here. Michigan going to be able to go on a shot? Because I watched this Michigan State team lose to Wisconsin with my own eyes. Obviously got studs everywhere. Jay Rich's kid is he's a real guy. Akins, what's his name?
Atkins, yes.
Atkins, he has this SWAT 15 feet in front of me probably. He was flying through the air. You got Coach Izzo. Obviously, he's going to be joining us next hour. Is Michigan State going to be able to go on a run? That Wisconsin team beat them. And then Wisconsin obviously loses to Michigan. Michigan, great, I think, early. Then they got a little bit of a downtime. Now they're back being great. How's the Big Ten going to fare in this entire thing?
I think Michigan State will be pretty solid, but you talk about, just how everyone perceives it. I mean, Michigan wins the conference tournament, and they're playing their best ball of the year. They get a 5 seed in the tournament. So it's kind of like...
Yeah, I saw they beat Wisconsin twice. They beat somebody else twice, and then they got seated lower than those people. What the hell is the selection committee doing? Everybody's mad about UNC over West Virginia and Indiana. There's a lot of other issues everybody's saying about this selection committee as well.
Exactly, but a lot of teams in the Big Ten, I think Foxy would attest to this. Not only is this probably a down year for the Big Ten, but you got a team like Michigan State who should be there. They're talented. They have one of the best coaches. But teams like Wisconsin, they're one of those teams where if they shoot the ball well, they might score, 90 points and could beat anybody. And if they don't, their defense is unbelievable. But we're looking at, the Big Ten championship in the first half, I think it was 29-26, so bad basketball. You get a lot of that in the Big Ten. So it's one of those things where a lot of these teams, if they shoot well, they can beat anybody. But if they're not shooting well, they could get beat by 30 by anybody. And that's kind of the problem with the Big Ten, I think.
Big 12 didn't get as many teams represented. I saw there. Commish came out and spoke a little bit. Obviously, the ACC is having a down year for the ACC. So all eyes are on the SEC, which we'll talk to Sankey here in about 30 minutes or so to get his thoughts and opinions on the amount of people saying the SEC is bullshit. Now, quickly, one half of the Hammer
Dahn.
Cowboys, AP Tone with his sweet hoodie on. Happy St. Patty's to you
Happy
as
St.
well.
Patty's to you.
Who's the odds-on favorite to win this entire thing, and what are some lines that we should keep an eye on?
That would be the Duke Blue Devils. They are the odds-on favorite. Even without Cooper Flagg right now, they assume he's going to play here at some point. But they are your odds-on favorite. And then you got the two big dogs, Florida and Auburn, at the top of the SEC. Obviously, we talked about the SEC and how many teams they have. They are just littered with favorites up there to win the tournament. But as of right now, Duke is your favorite. And then, the SEC teams and, Houston, teams like that are, and then, of course, your guys, Johnny's.
Thank you.
One of the favorites.
Yeah, Florida, I watched them against Tennessee this weekend. Got a chance to watch all these championship games. It's fun to kind of dive back into basketball.
Awesome.
And it was watching that Florida team very good.
Thoroughly enjoyed it, and I haven't watched any college basketball all year.
And I think Tennessee team's very good as well. And then getting a chance to watch Michigan State, Wisconsin, number 9 for Wisconsin. Light-skinned kid, I didn't know his name.
Killed us.
He's got a gun.
This kid was a real deal.
He was so good.
He was real deal. It was I got real excited to get back into the Madison March. And speaking of the Madison March, last thing here as we wrap up, Pete Dahn was reporting that West Virginia politicians plan to announce action against the NCAA and Tournament Selection Committee later today, tied to WVU's snub. Worth noting there that now Governor Patrick Morrisey was the Attorney General in the state who successfully challenged the NCAA transfer rules. If you remember, that was because people are getting paid. So you're taking away employment opportunities by only one transfer happening. If you do recall this at the beginning of the NIL, Patrick Morrisey was the Attorney General. Now he is Governor, won in November. Follow up, this is him replying to it. Yep, today I'm joining West Virginia Attorney General to announce actions against the National Corrupt Athletic Association.
Nice.
Live stream at 1 p.m. right here on X. Governor Patrick Morrisey said, listen, I wanted to do this as an AG. I did. Now I'm governor. So I got a little bit more say. I'm sick and tired of what's going on at the NCAA. Good luck over there. I don't know if they'll be able to overturn it in a few days.
Why not?
But maybe West Virginia gets an attorney. And maybe because of all this momentum that they're going to be able to go on a run. I do like that the state's nope.
Yeah, this is bullshit.
We're not going to do. We're going to need some answers. Okay, you're not just answering Reese Davis, who did a great job in his interview. You're going to have to be answering in a court of law, brother. Okay, who said what at what time? Can we get a transcript of what happened in those meetings? Hey, Bubba, you said you weren't in there when North Carolina was being discussed. That's interesting because the notes that I see here, you were eating a muffin in the corner of the room.
Whoa.
That's what he's ready and willing to do. Former suit, obviously.
Yep.
So he's ready for the suit, excited for all that. The madness has already begun before the game started, and that is a magical thing. Now let's go to the NFL. Massive deals were done over the weekend. T. Higgins, Jamar Chase, highest paid. Congrats to them. We'll talk more about that in a matter of moments. But at the DB position, there was a signing that ruffled the entire numbers of every salary cap across the NFL. Derek Stingley Jr. of the Houston Texans signed for $30 million a year. This comes a few days after J.C. Horn of the Carolina Panthers signed for $25 million a year. There was a convo about maybe the DB market being down. Now we're seeing $89 million guaranteed over 3 years for an absolute stallion in Derek Stingley Jr. Ball Hawk joining us now. Everything DB, good D, bad D host, Darius J. Butler.
Yo, what's good? Y'all got me?
Yes, you look fantastic. Where are you at quickly so we can tell everybody?
We are back in New Orleans where we work for the Super Bowl, obviously, but now we're here for a huge volleyball tournament for my daughter. Shout out to you. Gave her some great tips. Playing a new position this weekend, outside hitter. She usually libero, the backline defense, and now she's up near that net. So they've been kicking ass, having a great time out here. A lot of I feel like a kind of a bum because I'm not in the St. Patty's spirit. A lot of green out here. Big St. Patty's town out here. Was not aware of that.
What's your problem? What is your problem?
I'm sorry. I thought
you were Irish.
Honestly, yeah. You were telling us you were Irish.
The coach said they had some shit for us. I haven't got a chance to see the coach yet, so once I get into the convention center,
uniform.
Hopefully I don't get pinched before she gets it to me.
Listen, all you got to do is happy St. Patty's with a D, and then just keep walking. Act like you understand it more than anybody. Okay, we know you're very busy. Shout out to your daughter, by the way. I saw that spike. That was awesome. They served
kicking ass.
A lot of floater, serves. A lot of everybody floating.
Not everybody. It depends on who you run into. Some of these teams, look, you got teams from Cali, Texas, Alabama, New Orleans, Florida. So you run into some of these, it's a difference. It's levels. So, but that team, that was a lighter level team, but we've definitely ran into some dogs where it's one player that just controls the game. Every time it gets to that left side, Yaga is getting over. You got to be careful. No free balls. No free balls.
Yeah, I understand that. And the video you sent me, shout out to Maya. She had a great pass. Then she got outside. Boom, bang, pow. It was beautiful to watch. Anyways.
I love it.
Good dadding. Volleyball is a great sport. Played in high school.
It is.
Love the sport. It was probably my favorite sport I played in high school. I think probably because there was really no pressure on what was going to happen. There was no thought of like, am I going to do this for a professional? Because I just got introduced to it. But I loved it. It is a great sport. Okay, let's get to the DBs getting paid. J.C. Horn, $25 million a year less than a week ago. Now, Derek Stingley Jr. getting $30 million a year, $89 million guaranteed. Why do you think Derek Stingley was the guy to take this big jump in the pay for DBs, and how do you feel about the deals that are kind of unfolding now?
First of all, talk about good dadding. All these guys, football is in their blood. You're talking about second, third, even fourth generation with Stingley. His grandpappy or great-grandpappy was a New England Patriot. All SEC guys, all first rounders, all guys living up to their billing. But Derek Stingley Jr., he's a little different. Even as talented as that LSU 2019 team was, a lot of people that you talk to in that building around that program said that this is the guy. This is probably the best guy on the roster. And he's lived up to it. Outside of injuries that kind of plagued him throughout his college career and then early on in his NFL career, but he's been healthy. He hit his stride last year, been a first-team All-Pro. 5 interceptions, played all 17 games. He could do everything. He could play off. He could play man. You can leave him on an island. He can come up and tackle. But his ball skills, I think, separate him from the pack. Patrick Surtain Jr., Defensive Player of the Year, phenomenal technician, can do everything as well. J.C. Horn, once again, another guy who, if he stays healthy, he'll continue to be one of the best DBs in the league. But Derek Stingley Jr., him and Patrick Surtain right there, 1A, 1B as far as best cornerbacks in the league go.
Okay, so we looked up the numbers. Jalen Ramsey, I think, has the third highest average per year. In Jalen, though, we've seen him doing this a long time. We've seen him in Jacksonville. We've seen him in Jacksonville, L.A. Now he's in Miami, obviously. That's a very long, great career. We would say that the next generation of DBs, corners, we're in a very good spot.
Yeah, we are in a great spot right now. The Quinyon Mitchell of the world, even Cooper DeJean, we'll see what he does to that slot market in the
Happy St. Patty's Day!
But leading the way for the exciting whites. But yeah, these guys, they're doing their thing, and it's still a wide gap. You just saw Jamar Chase get his bag; he's getting 40 plus a year, and now with Derek Stingley Jr. really completely resetting the cornerback market, getting 30 million a year. So it's still a wide gap there. But these guys are valuable, especially when you can travel, when you can follow that number one receiver to the left or to the right side of the defense with the guy we got all pro Mooney and Indy now, who's going to be doing that, following number ones. That kind of changes the defense and gives the defensive coordinator a little bit more freedom when it comes to taking the other guys away around the field. But yeah, we're in a good spot right now. As long as that continues to trend north for those top cornerbacks, that's big time for the whole position group as a whole.
All right. Well, good luck down there to your daughter.
Yes,
I hope they give you some green, for a good.
Yeah, I get some. I gotta watch my six. It's a lot of. Everybody else got green on.
Standard white guy in the corner.
Just not like boom.
Sitting there.
Boom. Yeah, I get on board.
All right, good luck out there. We appreciate you joining us. Congrats to the corners, ladies and gentlemen. Darius J. Butler.
Yes, sir.
Hey, Butch.
It was cool. He was sending me videos.
Saw it on his story, too.
Of her play. Yeah.
Yeah.
So he's so into it, too. He was like, hey, she's playing a new position. We got to get to a gym. We need like 30 minutes at least. Is there anything I could do quickly? I was like, let me remember back to high school. Let me think back to a drill that we did. I don't know. If I had to teach my kid, this is what I would do. Bang, we're working while standing. Let's just get the topspin on this thing. Then we had the jump. Then we had the point. And obviously, she's more athletic than I would ever be. She's Darius J. Butler's daughter. And she's good. Mm-hmm. She's a good player.
Definitely.
She's good at defense. She's good at offense. Seems like those tournaments, he's really enjoying the shit out of it. That's good dad. Now, ladies and gentlemen, joining us. Okay. You want to talk about dads? How about a Godfather?
Uh-huh.
Okay, how about going back to New York and turning the place upside down? And in doing so, having a documentary shot about the season and just delivering gems seemingly every single time that he speaks. Only coach in the history to take 6 different teams to the NCAA tournament. The Big East Coach of the Year from the St. John Johnnies. Ladies and gentlemen, Coach Rick Pitino.
Yeah, Coach!
How are you, Paisan?
I'm great, thank you.
Hey, happy St. Patrick's Day. I know you can't wear any green because of the school colors and everything like that, but just know that we're celebrating the hell out of you and the Johnnies over here while we're drinking some green beer or such. Let's talk about this season. And, Coach, first of all, you're electrifying. Every clip that comes out from you speaking to your team is wonderful. The one that I enjoyed most, that made me feel like I was back in the locker room, is whenever you were pissed off at your guys for when adversity struck, that they continued to kind of collapse. You said, where were you raised that you have such a weak mentality? When do you dig in? Like the motivation that you were given to these guys obviously struck home. They come out and crush in the second half. Is that like your life motto that you're putting into your players? Like, how do you develop what messages you want to send at the time? Is that just your beliefs and how you have got here? And honestly, I fucking love listening to you coach, and I've never played basketball a day in my life.
Well, thank you. I think it revolves around the structure of your team. This team is a hardworking team, but they count their misses too much. We're not a great shooting team. We rely on perseverance, a very strong defensive work ethic. And if we miss 2 or 3, we deflate. And I keep telling them, you keep shooting. You move the basketball, you take open shots, you never deflate. You just get on to the next play. And we had a tendency early in the year, because we're all new to each other, of deflating. So I got him out of that. We went out at halftime of that game. We won it in the Big East final. We were down 3 at halftime. We came back out. We won. We got down 15 early, down 3 at halftime, won it by 15. So it's just a matter of dealing with adversity. I never, ever wonder about dealing with adversity with my team. I've always concerned myself with dealing with success with every team I've ever coached. Success is so much more difficult to deal with than adversity.
You get comfortable. You win the Big East title, obviously, and I saw you talk to the team and to the press about it, and obviously you're incredibly proud. You talk some shit, which seemingly is classic Coach Pitino and that all, but what is the message to the team after you win the Big East title? Because obviously there is a comfortability about having a successful season that comes with winning a title, and now your most important basketball happens. So how do you keep everybody kind of grounded?
Well, we broke down the season from the beginning in 3 phases. Phase 1 was to try and have the best Big East schedule season that you could possibly have, try to win it. get in the NCAA. Then you play 3 games, and we tried to mimic these because we have very little NCAA experience on this team. Only 2 players have played in the NCAA, and 1 did not play. Zubi Ejiofor, who's had a great year, did not play. So we took the Big East tournament and said, okay, this is the first round of the NCAA, second game is the second round, third game, and so on. And we put a lot of pressure in each game to survive and advance. So we did that. Now, phase 3 is you're playing against teams you've never seen before. And probably, if you're lucky enough to get by the first round, then you play the toughest 7-10 matchup there is in the country.
Yeah, the next round is what everybody's talking about because could be a couple of legends. On that note, Anthony DeJulio has a question for you, Coach Pitino.
Yeah, Coach. I know it's one game at a time. Let's say you get by Omaha, and then it's either or Bill Self or Coach Cal. Do you like in that second round potentially going against a future Hall of Fame coach in those guys where you kind of know who their teams are, who their teams will be, versus a coach that you've never gone against and you don't know their style?
You know, it doesn't come down to every coach in the NCAA is going to be really prepared. They, both Bill and John, know exactly what not to do because they've been there many times. Another coach may not have been there, and they're not familiar with the NCAA, but these 2 guys are Hall of Fame coaches. They know what not to do. Their teams will be well prepared. They're going to have great talent, certainly. So we're super excited to be in the tournament. St. John's right now, we've turned the corner, we've built the culture, and now we just got to take it to another level. In the next few years, we hope to build it to a new level.
I love what you're doing. Love the excitement around the city. I don't get to New York as often as I should. You know, it's a beautiful town, beautiful city. Seth Greenberg told us that you're just dominating New York Post. Back page is just Pitino. And then I saw your quote about being from here and how the St. John's is representing the entire city. I assume that's a massive piece of the recruiting pitch, right? To build back St. John's?
I think more than anything else, think about this. At Kentucky, we went to 2 championship games, and we were never invited onto the Tonight Show with Jimmy Fallon. Here we win the Big East. We're on the Tonight Show with Jimmy Fallon. So as you know, New York's the media capital of the world, the financial capital of the world. And if you win, everything is exaggerated. If you lose, everything is exaggerated. So you better win.
Yeah, well, I think you're doing just that. It feels like that's the only thing you do. Speaking of winning, how'd your liver do against Quarter Jameson?
I had 2 beers.
Okay. All right. Just a little fact, a little journalism here. Ty has a question.
I was looking for a Jameson's commercial. They didn't hit me.
Yet. Hold on. It's on their way. You know, they got a lot going on right now at St. Patty's. They were underwater. They'll probably catch up later this week. Ty has a question for you.
Coach, NIL has obviously changed the way college basketball is in a big way, and it's still early on, but how have you noticed like your booster support and NIL compared to maybe what it would have been at like a Kentucky or a Louisville? I know Mike Rapopoulos just came out and basically said like, hey, anything coach needs, he's going to get moving forward. So how has that whole situation been at St. John's? Obviously winning a Big East tournament doesn't hurt either.
So obviously Mike Rapopoulos, along with other boosters, have been great for St. John's, but everything's going to change next year. So we've adapted to the NIL last 2 years. Now it's going to change. It's going to go to the revenue sharing by the schools. Each school gets $22 million. Football will dominate the pool because they have more players. So here's the luxury we have, along with the other 10 Big East members. We don't have football. So the revenue sharing will come more into basketball. We will have more money in basketball than all the football programs. So we've got a lucky break along those lines, and revenue sharing will really help the Big East.
Coach, you know, your journey back here to the spotlight is a beautiful one. And, you know, we live in Indianapolis. We're not that far away from your previous homes. When that ended, how it ended, was there, and you gave that adversity speech to your team, was there ever a doubt that you were going to get back to this moment? Not that you didn't with Iona, you know, but like now you are back to being in the spotlight, being talked about as a GOAT again. Everybody, you know, like, did you ever have a doubt that was going to take place, or is this always the vision to get back to the top?
Well, the NCAA enforcement staff is I won't call them corrupt. I will call them inept.
Okay.
And I say that, and the reason I say that is it takes them 5 years to decide your fate. So whether you're guilty or innocent doesn't matter. It's going to take them 5 years to judge you. So after 5 years, I get exonerated. Well, now I'm over in Greece coaching a legendary program, Panathinaikos, and to be perfectly honest with you, Pat, I thought I was going to end my career in the EuroLeague, which wasn't bad, by the way. I was visiting Moscow, St. Petersburg, Madrid, Tel Aviv. I visited places I'd never experienced. Panathinaikos is like the Boston Celtics of Europe. So it was a wonderful thing for me. I learned an awful lot at age 65 being over there. So I thought that was the end for me. Then I went back to coach Iona University, where we were lucky enough to go to NCAA 2 out of 3 years. And that was very exciting. And I wouldn't have moved from Iona. Just St. John's was a local team, and I got a chance to move over to here.
Okay, so expected to maybe stay over there in Greece or in the EuroLeague, and then as opportunities continue to arise. And did you get a new, I don't want to say perspective or love or hunger after the 5-year exoneration to reprove like everybody can eat shit, basically? A lot of things were said about you, Coach. A lot of things.
Yeah, I think a lot of people say, well, it's great you're having a redemption. I really don't believe in the word redemption, because those who judge you really don't know the facts. They really don't know either way, innocent or guilty. They don't know it. And so you take, obviously, if something went wrong, you're the head of the team. You have to be responsible for all actions that go on. So obviously things were done the incorrect way. I suffered the consequences, left a great job at the University of Louisville. And I talked to my team. I didn't hang my head. I took off for Greece, didn't know one person. My wife and family did not go with me. I arrived in Athens, Greece, not knowing a person. The entire arena at halftime, when I walked out, there's a cloud of smoke. Everybody smoking in the arena. I was choking to death. And if I did anything good over there, I said to the Prime Minister, listen, you got to stop smoking in restaurants. You got to stop smoking. And we got that passed. They don't smoke in restaurants anymore. They don't smoke in arenas. So that was a great thing. The experience of coaching Panathinaikos was about as enjoyable as anything I've ever done in coaching. And like I said just earlier, alluded to, I learned so much. The EuroLeague is like the Golden State Warriors with 35-year-olds who didn't make it in the NBA. They know how to pass, cut, move. And the offenses were brilliant.
So you're a Greek lobbyist, one of the GOATs, and the only guy to ever take 6 different teams into the tournament. Now, you talked about the 3 years with Iona. We actually have a little year question for you. Connor has one.
Yeah, Coach, usually it doesn't take 3 years. Obviously, you mentioned with St. John's this being your second year and things already kind of turning around. And then there's a graphic that we have, and it was basically every single school you've been at. The year before, they were obviously not very good. And then by the second year of the Rick Pitino coaching tenure, they are unbelievable. And you've been to the tournament, obviously the first coach ever to win the conference tournament with 5+ teams, I believe. What would you say is kind of the Coach Rick Pitino culture that gets instilled that kind of hits home for so many of the players year 2? Is it the guys you bring in after that first year, or is it the guys that are kind of already there understanding how you want them to play basketball?
Well, all of those combined. But let's look at it this way. You're taking over a program. Kentucky was on probation. The Knicks won 21 games. The Louisville was down and out. Providence was dead last place since the inception of the Big East. So they're all falling on hard times. You come in, you don't have enough time to recruit. So the first year is just building a culture of hard work, building a culture where everyone plays with unbelievable passion. And in the second year, you bring in your own players, you've established the culture, and now you're ready to go. And then from that point on, now you've built the culture, now you have the reputation to bring in even better players, and now you've built a strong program. So it's all pretty much been the same. But the one thing I can tell you is this one, of all of them, means the most to me, along with the Knicks, because the other programs, we went into Madison Square Garden at Louisville, won back-to-back Big East championships. And I was so proud of the guys, and one team won the national championship. But this is doing it the same way, but you're doing it where you grew up 8 streets from Madison Square Garden. And this is your home. The people all talk like you. When I was in Louisville and Lexington, nobody sounded like me.
Yeah. You said the word prepared the way you said it earlier, and everybody was like, the hell is this guy saying around here? All the people in New York seemingly rallying around you. I was in Madison Square Garden last Monday. What a place, dude.
Unreal.
Yeah. 20,000 somewhere in there. I mean, it was glorious, Coach.
Yeah, the Big East semifinal and the Big East final with all St. John's fans, It just brought back memories of when I was coaching. Unfortunately, I coached against Lou Carnesecca, who was 100 this year and passed away. But I was coaching against Lou, Providence versus St. John's. Coached against Rolly Massimino, John Thompson Sr., Jim Boeheim, P.J. Colissimo, all the Jim Calhoun, all these great coaches in the Big East at that time. It was a wonderful experience for a young coach.
Okay, so let's talk about that in conferences. I went to West Virginia when West Virginia was in the Big East. Obviously, absolutely legendary run in the football world and still running in the basketball world. The SEC now is having a moment here in college hoops. Do you pay attention to all of that? Is there something or a reason you would point to other than just NIL and maybe the SEC investing more at these schools? Why do you think the SEC is having this record-breaking type season?
Well, obviously, they have more teams than just about anyone. The Big 12, Big 10 now, they've all expanded. Where the Big East has not expanded. I've been trying to get them to expand now for 2 years. I think that even combining, like Coach K said, the ACC with the Big East in basketball would be a wonderful thing. So larger is better, certainly. But the SEC, I can tell you right now, from every team that I've watched, they are unbelievable. Every team. You're talking Florida, Tennessee, Mississippi State, Arkansas. I'm leaving out
Auburn,
obviously.
Alabama. Yep. Got it.
They're all incredible. With also great veteran coaches. You know, they're all. You pick your boy. Who do you like better? Nate Oates or Bruce Pearl? Who do you like better? John Calipari, Mark Pope? They're all great, and they're veteran coaches who again know what not to do as well as what to do. So the SEC has maybe the best combination of coaches who have had wonderful experience, but so does the Big 12 and so does the Big 10. The Big East right now has a lot of young coaches, including myself.
Yes, absolutely. Hey, you look younger than ever. That lotion routine must be the real deal. You Italians got something special in there. You know, you paisans got it figured out. Big East ACC would be absolutely bananas.
Yeah.
That would be great basketball. Holy shit.
Yeah, and I think it's necessary to combat all the people combining their conferences. We need something to, although we had 5 teams out of 11 make the tournament, that's great. But we need something to make it even better. And I've always believed if it's not broken and you're successful, break it and make it better because other people will.
Because other people will. You're right. Other people who have either a different motive or more money will come in and try to change what is working. That's been since the beginning of time in all businesses. Speaking of business, your business, the film. Who you said every time you watch the SEC for a tournament, what do you do? How far out are you watching film and preparing your team? Is it game by game? Like, how do you prepare the Johnnies here?
I think what I've always done is defensively, we will do everything to go against Omaha's offense. But offensively, in the next 3 days, you prepare for the weekend. So let's say that it's not true, but let's say that Arkansas played a matchup zone. So in the next 3 days, we got to prepare for Kansas, Arkansas, and Omaha offensively. So we don't go into 1 day prep offensively going against defenses you haven't seen. But defensively, we just focus in on Omaha.
Okay. Hey, thanks for that insight. Now I feel like a genius. They've been preparing for this defense for the last 4 or 5 days.
Yeah, Sunday.
That's what I'm going to sound like an asshole whenever I act like I know what I'm talking about. When I don't. You certainly do, though. And you're a good lobbyist in Greece. I assume you'll be a great lobbyist at the Big East office. Big East ACC would be awesome.
Yeah. Kidding me?
That'd be the best basketball. That would be the best conference tournament in the MSG, obviously.
Oh, yeah.
Oh my.
Pat, do you remember the pitch-snoggle game with against Louisville in 2013, 2005?
Yeah, brother. Pittsnoggle and I, maybe 4 to 5, just like you, a couple beers, maybe a quarter Jameson, 4 to 5 pitchers at Club Z afterwards. Yeah, I remember Pittsnoggle. You got Pittsnoggled was the thing.
So we were playing basically 2-3 zone because we only had 7 players, and the 7th player had a stress fracture, so he couldn't practice. So we were just playing flat 2-3 zone. We went out there, and they made, I believe it was 13 or some incredible number of threes at halftime. We cut it from 18 to 13. We went up at halftime. We had about 10 minutes. We took all the chairs. They run a Princeton offense with their great coach. And we're going over at halftime, man-to-man, which we hadn't played the whole season, trying to defend the backdoor offense. And the guys were so brilliant. We won it in overtime.
Okay.
But we changed our entire season defensively in a halftime moving the chairs.
That's good coaching. It sounds like you know what the fuck you're doing. And I'm happy you did that. Beeline was obviously the coach at West.
Tom Beeline was a tremendous coach.
Gansey, Beeline, Pittsnoggle. I'm trying to think of that. There was a Jamie on that team.
His son was great.
Yeah, Pat. Yeah, Pat was, and Gansey was a dog. Don't get it twisted.
Mm-hmm.
That squad was great.
Was great.
Until you moved chairs at halftime and called him a man. You're an ass.
Of course.
We could have had a great time in Morgantown. Coach, we could have had a great time. We appreciate you. Good luck the rest of the way. You don't need to know this and add any extra motivation. Connor and I are
all in.
Heavy on the Johnnies, especially since West Virginia got screwed. Heavy on your team. Can't wait to watch you.
Thanks for having me, guys.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Godfather, Rick Pitino.
Yeah, coach.
All right, halftime. Changes the entire team.
They were prepared.
They were prepared.
It comes down to that preparation.
As soon as, I don't know.
I don't know either.
I don't know how you transition
now.
into preparation there, but I don't have enough of a New York accent. But as soon as he said prepared on the thing there, I'm like, oh, he gets back home too. I assume it's just dialed up 1,000. He's the king back there. And watching them win this weekend was cool. That was a cool thing to kind of watch him do. Scared me a little bit, especially because the hefty bet that we placed on them to win it all. But then the information was immediately put. UConn won. They won one. You win, you win. You got a good squad. You got a good squad. I like that he's like, hey, guys, we're going to miss shots. We can't shoot.
Yeah.
All right? So you guys get upset that you can't shoot. I know you can't shoot. So whenever you miss, let's just – actually, the only reason why we're shooting is so you guys can have some fun. Okay? We need to be – that's a good mindset. It's all in how you frame things. I bet you Pitino, it sounds like from watching his Vice show, every message he's delivering, I'm like, I like the way this guy talks and frames things. That's all coaching is. How do you frame something in somebody's mind to either drive them or bring out the absolute best in them? And the way he delivers his message like that – the mental toughness speech that he gave about adversity and battling and digging in, like it was awesome to see him kind of deliver that. And the boys obviously listened and reacted in the second half.
Well, you said too, like, you got to empower these guys. He said a lot of the guys on this team don't have any NCAA tournament experience, which we've seen when you have teams with older backcourts and guys who have played in the tournament before, that really matters. But it's also a good thing they won the Big East tournament because with the selection committee, who knows, they lose that, they might be looking at an 8 seed or a 9 seed.
Yeah, maybe worse.
Yeah, well, that's that leads perfectly into this. The selection committee seemingly liked one conference more than everybody else, didn't they?
Ridiculous, man.
What's that all about? Record-breaking 14 teams in the dance. Joining us now, the commissioner of the Southeastern Conference. Ladies and gentlemen, Greg Sankey.
Yeah.
How you doing, Greg? Didn't know you went into the selection committee's office and paid them all off. I didn't know that's what we were doing in March, Greg.
No, that's earned, man. I can go through the record if you want. I think they said it on the show. 89% of our non-conference games. I'll go through all the data for you that informs it.
No, Greg, that's why we love you, because we think you not only represent your conference in a fashion that has all your schools thankful, but you have a lot of pride in the SEC. So whenever I see the reaction that I saw whenever 14 teams were selected on the internet, I couldn't wait to chit-chat with you. Going into this particular, SEC conference tournament, and then into the selection Sunday, everybody talks about how great the SEC was this year. The SEC, it's the SEC's year. Now, granted, that's media fodder, and people say that is what it is, but why do you think the SEC was so good at basketball this year? Is it investment? Is it commitment? What do you think it is that really transitioned from you guys having 4 to 6 to 8 teams in the tournament each year to now to 14, Commish?
We had to learn some hard lessons. We spent a lot of years with 3 or 4 teams being in, and that was it. And I think all of those words you used are part of it. I'll start with coaching. Every one of our 16 coaches has been in the NCAA tournament with one team at least as a head coach. I think 6 of them have been to the Final Four. A lot of depth and a lot of experience. There's the commitment. We have new arenas, new facilities. Trying to manage through this new era of name, image, and likeness in the transfer portal. Perhaps we've been a bit ahead, but I don't know that it really matters if you're great at name, image, and likeness if you don't have the right leadership in place. And I'll really start there. To go back 10 years ago, we needed new expectations for how we performed on the men's basketball side because we succeeded in everything else. quite candidly, but we didn't even meet our own expectations in men's basketball. And that's what's different today is we're functioning in men's basketball like we do in women's basketball or baseball, softball, football.
Gymnastics. I mean, you go through the
golf.
I assume,
all of them.
Golf. Yeah, all of them. Yeah, men's and women's is what he was talking about. You guys take a lot of pride in how your sports do. And, the conversation about the basketball, we need to get better in the men's basketball for the dance. I think a couple years back, the Big Ten had a shit ton of teams. I don't remember these 10 something, maybe
10
12.
plus.
Yeah, maybe 12. Mm-hmm. And then first round or second round, not great. Like the Big Ten ended up not performing as well. Didn't have 14 teams, which is obviously a record-breaking number, but had a lot. It was supposed to be the Big Ten's year and then got in, and it was almost like upset after upset. Do you think your teams are built for the tournament to go on a big run? And how will you be shit-talking throughout all this? If your teams do well, will there be a tweet, or are you just going to idly watch your squads go out there and compete?
Well, talking season's behind us. And Pat, last Monday, I sent a memo to our coaches to say, hey, wherever you're seated, wherever your sights set, whatever your opponent, just focus. And so we want to stay focused as a group. So I'm going to own that as well. Now, there is a level of pride, and I think there's a level of pride in the league. Really cool set of text messages from coaches yesterday who gained access, who got in maybe as 8, 9, 10 seeds. And it's a grind for those guys. And I said back to them, I'm proud for all of us. I'm proud of what we do on the women's basketball side. We've got every one of our 16 universities represented on either the men's or women's side. I think that stands alone. We've got 2 number 1 seeds on the men's side, 2 number 1 seed on the women's side. I think as we go forward, there's a chance for upset. Sure, when you're like 8, 9, 10, 11, losing is not an upset. Yet the level of competition this year in our league, in winning almost 90% of our non-conference games, a bunch of those against high-level teams, and then playing through the grind of our conference schedule on the men's side and the women's side means you're prepared for just about anything. Now, you have to go meet the moment. And that's the question that comes up. And the records are clean. We're all undefeated at this point. And then week to week, game to game, you have to make your way through 6 games over 3 weeks to see who the national champion will be.
Every time you answer, I just think to myself, I wish this guy was the commissioner of whatever league I had. The amount of pride, investment, everything. You go to all these games, you talk to all these people, and you're not scared to be like, yeah, our conference, we're better than you at sports. Like we are. That is our goal. That is our mission, not only academically, but we like to play well on the athletic side of this all. I love the way you chat. And I think there's a lot of hate because of, for a long time during the football season, the SEC was the big thing for ESPN. And obviously ESPN has deals with the ACC. They have deals with the Big East, I think. They have deals with the SEC. They got deals with a lot of people, but no, it's SEC ESPN. Like the fact that you're even on my show right now, people are going to say that I'm in on the SEC ESPN. It's like, well, if the Big Ten had this many teams in there, we'd have Pitino on here too. Paisan, say happy St. Patty's. Like, it's just a conversation. You've been very good to us, but I think the SEC just gets a lot of disrespect because of the amount of shine and light on the sports teams from down there. Do you agree with that, or do you try to not pay attention to any shit?
Well, I hear the noise. I'll tell you one thing about the Southeastern Conference. We are not uninteresting, right? And I think people want to watch. They want to be in conversation about that which is interesting. And whether it's 14 men's teams, 10 women's teams, you go back when I threw out the Sesame Street quote at game day last December about one of these things is not like the other. Like, I can only use that once. I can't use it over and over. People may interpret that as arrogance. I think that's really defining who we are, who we've become, how we want to function. We want to be unique. And I use with Pete Thamel in an article the word unicorn because we're a unicorn league. Just the historical success, it hasn't happened in over 40 years in men's basketball at the college level. The kind of non-conference success, the kind of high-level competition. And I'll just say from our fan standpoint, to be in Nashville for the last week, you can hear in my voice, I've got the post-tournament congestion.
Of course,
but to just be around that feel, that environment, that intensity, That's really unique and special, and a credit to what happens on our campuses and our communities. Sometimes that might be a little bit over the top, but it's what makes us special, I think.
Yeah, and to go back to your point about the early history of those SEC schools, I think Saban talked about how, there was no professional sports in any of these places. Right. So the universities were the sports teams. They were the ones representing the entire state, the city, everything like that. So generations and generations. I'm not saying it's not like that. Like Ohio State, Penn State, Michigan, you go through the big Oregons. Like there are places that have massive fan base, and I'm not saying that is just in the SEC, but it feels like it's everywhere in the SEC. It is like, this is what we will live and die with, and the sports teams obviously are supported in a massive level. Now, on that note, you did a little bit of this with Texas and Oklahoma. Now, Coach Pitino just brought it up literally 15 minutes ago. Go ahead, man.
Yeah, Commish, when it comes to conference expansion, do you talk to other commissioners about the benefits? Do they ask you, hey, how did you go about it? What is that process like? Because Pat mentioned, Coach Rick Pitino has been kind of lobbying to the Big East about bringing in more teams, maybe something with the ACC. And is that something you talk to other commissioners about, or is it more so, if the right teams come along, that's when certain conferences should consider adding teams in?
If you want to shut a meeting down, ask me to talk to my colleagues about expansion, and you will watch them run to the corners of the room. Like, all of a sudden, me talking about expansion is like front page headlines, what's going on. So not a lot. I really look at our expansion with Oklahoma and Texas. And I said this last week, like if you want to go someplace and challenge yourself academically, challenge yourself at the highest level of athletic competition, and not spend hours upon hours on an airplane, this is the place to be. We can get from one side to the other pretty efficiently. And, the last 3 weeks I've been on 14 of 16 of our campuses, and I can make that happen, much like our teams for in-person meetings. When I think about expansion, I've always thought about something that's connected to who we are. And Oklahoma and Texas really represented that. Great universities within a geographic footprint, Oklahoma, a contiguous state, relationships from the Big 8, the Big 12 days, high level expectations for their athletics programs across the board. And that's who we are, and that's why it fits. And that's probably driven other decisions. We obviously were kind of early in this current round of movement, but the bottom line is, if I roll into a meeting and say, hey, let's talk about expansion, it goes quiet really quickly.
Well, you should tell ACC and Big East to combine forces for basketball.
Come on.
You should, that would be
Don't
awesome.
leave that one alone.
Okay, all right. You don't want that 14 to get touched. That 14 number getting an attorney obviously could be dancing. Tone has a question for you. You just mentioned something about it.
Yeah, Commissioner, you just talked about being on 14 of the 16 campuses and being in Nashville, and we've been with you at the national championship stuff. We know you like going to the games. With 24 teams in between the men's and women's tournament, can you just tell everyone, like, hey, there's too many teams in, I'm just going to stay home and watch these?
No, I'm not. I'm going to go. So I'll tell you, a long time ago, I'll tie the Rick Pitino thing in. 1986, I thought he was going to be a high school basketball coach in upstate New York. He was speaking at a coaching clinic when he was at Providence. It was the year that Billy Donovan was a senior. They went to the Final Four, so like October 86. He spoke for 3 hours, and it was riveting. Just like went by in 10 minutes. And so you go back to like the 21-year-old me who was going to coaching clinics, trying to figure out how to coach basketball. To be able to go and experience first and second round games in this role is a moment I cherish. And appreciate. So this week, my plan is to be at games in Lexington and Raleigh. I'll see 5 of our teams between those two places, bounce back and forth on the men's side. Next week, we actually right across the street here in Birmingham host the women's Sweet 16 and Elite 8, and hopefully have a bunch of our teams there. So I'll split my time that way. And then coming to the Final Four, you don't know what happens, but I'd really, really love to be figuring out how to bounce back and forth between Tampa and San Antonio because we have a bunch of teams in those men's and women's Final Four events.
Buddy, the whole world is hoping you guys have nobody in the final. Outside the SEC.
I get that.
Yeah, the whole world. I'm saying, it's crazy because in your mind, it's like hey, we got to go here now. We got to go. Now we're in there. And the SEC probably feels as if there is like a us against the world mentality all the time. But it got, especially with a record-breaking number of teams, a record-breaking number of teams getting in there after West Virginia gets absolutely hosed. Absolutely hosed, Commish. I don't know how you can change it, but you need to. Okay, you need to change everything that happened in West Virginia. Maybe let us in the SEC. Something to think about. Something to think about. Huh?
That'd be good for football.
Yeah, well, that makes people nervous when you start saying that. I was going to put you on the selection committee. That could fix it as well. So you got two ways you can go there.
Hell yeah.
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah, and it seems like I might watch more college basketball than people that are in there. And I watch next to none.
Yeah, exactly.
So
what does that tell you?
Don't laugh. Don't laugh. Don't laugh, Commish. Can't be laughing at that.
I'm not. I smiled some, and then I self-corrected so that people wouldn't interpret anything from that facial reaction.
Smart. That's a good play. That's why you're the best, Commish. Last question here. Speaking of your conference, go ahead, Ty.
Yeah, Commish. So obviously we're coming off a national championship where the Big Ten wins in football, and then you have a record-breaking season in basketball. Do you think it would be fair to say that it's kind of trending towards the SEC becoming a basketball conference? I know it's different down here and all that kind of stuff, but do you think that narrative will get started all after you have a season like this?
First, I'm thrown by the Iowa gear in front of you and not on you for the first time that we've ever been together.
Well, we're going through some tough times right now.
I got no coach.
I have to reconfigure. We want to be in everything league. I mean, Pat's the one who threw in gymnastics. I think we've got 1, 2, and 3 in gymnastics nationally right now.
Baseball.
1 in baseball, 1 in softball. I haven't checked the golf and tennis rankings, but we got to be close. There was a point a couple weeks ago where we had 14 teams or 14 sports in competition, and we had the number 1 ranked team in 12 of those sports. That's what we want to be.
Damn.
And when we go through this change, we talk a lot about opportunities across the board. We want to be great in everything, and I think we can do that. Now, we're going to go through change as we deal with name, image, and likeness payments and this revenue sharing stuff out of a legal settlement if it's approved, but that doesn't change our aspirations.
All right, we have a hard out here in like 90 seconds. You saying 12 out of 14 sports currently being played have SEC school as the number 1 overall team. Is that good? I don't know. Everybody can keep getting mad. We just stay committed to sports down there, which is why I think a lot of us who understand what's going on down there have such appreciation and respect for it. Quickly, though, you just mentioned that they're revenue sharing. That's going to go through? We all just assume? I mean, that's been the conversation basically for the last 6 months.
Well, we have a responsibility to prepare, but that's up to a judge, not to me.
Okay, but everybody is acting as if it's going to go through, right?
It's, as far as the behavior I understand, they're preparing for that reality. But again, whether a settlement is finalized is up to the court and to the judge in the courtroom, not to me.
All right, so let's hope that it goes through. Let's hope that judge goes hammer Dahn on some regulations on college sports going forward. We appreciate you so much, Commish. Good luck the next few weeks with your conference.
Thanks, guys. Good to be with you. Be well.
Hey, that Nashville voice is sounding fantastic. Yeah. We've all heard it, ladies and gentlemen. Greg Sankey.
Hey,
we became a fan of Greg Sankey during COVID, which a lot's coming out now, I'm learning. If you were just to scan some things, like some
new articles
coming out.
Big publication.
Yeah, I think so. A publication that's potentially... Anyways, we're all learning, and we all need to remember it for the future. But remember, there were some conferences that were saying, we're not playing football, we're not playing football, we're not playing football. Sankey came out and said, we're playing football. Okay, I don't know what everybody else is doing. We're playing football. Then some schools were trying to get to the SEC, and then all of a sudden kind of force everybody else's hand to continue to play football. That's when we met Sankey. We're like, this guy loves ball. Yeah. And he's always been good to us. People are hoping his schools lose. He's saying, I don't think that's the case. We're back in hour 2. Be a friend, tell a friend something nice. It might change their life.
Is it? What a moment. Can you imagine? McAfee for his boys, for the brand.
Now the celebration is on. The Brad McAfee and Stone Cold Steve Austin.
McAfee's wanted to drink beer with Stone Cold forever. What a magical moment.
A dream scenario. Brad McAfee wins his match at WrestleMania and shares a beer with the Texas. Oh, no!
Stunner! 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 Austin stuns McAfee!
I hate to say it, but DTA, Pat, don't trust anybody.
Austin 316 says, I just stunned Pat McAfee!
I guess Pat can enjoy his victory when he wakes up. The celebration belongs now to the Texas Rattlesnake, Stone Cold Steve Austin.
Oh my, what a couple of nights.
Oh, there he is.
Yeah, hit back. Celebrate.
Give him about 10 minutes.
I'm surprised you're even here tonight after last night. I didn't expect Austin to be here tonight.
Okay, Pat, I like
Something better, Pat.
Have fun. I respect the game.
Stone Cold Steve Austin with another WrestleMania moment.
In the city where it all started for Stone Cold Steve Austin 30 plus years ago, the Texas Rattlesnake with a...
The following program is a collection of stooges talking about happenings in the sports world. It is meant to be comedic informative. The opinions expressed on this show do not necessarily reflect the beliefs of their peers, their boss, or ESPN. There may be some cuss words because that's how humans in the real world talk. If you are young, please seek permission before watching any further.
Hey,
Why?
let's go.
This show stinks, and the fact that you listen, we are very, very thankful for.
McAfee on the line with a gorgeous assist.
The all-time leading tackler for the Green Bay Packers.
You pink.
Damn it! Be a friend, tell a friend something nice could change their life. Hello, beautiful people, and welcome back to our humble abode, the Thunderdome, on this St. Patty Madness Monday, March 17th, 2025. Hour 2 of the program starts now. Patty's Day is happening currently, and obviously we hope you all have a moment to take a breath and enjoy your life. And cheers to your Irish, family, compadres, brethren, you named it. Just a sláinte to forget about the worries and the bad times and to have a good time in the name of the fine Irish folks. The Toxic Table is here at Boston Connor and at Ty Schmidt. Con man, like seeing the green jacket on this St. Patty's Day alongside the Kangol.
Yeah, it's one of those days that you look forward to. I also have my Tim Robinson t-shirt on, just kind of my favorite one that I have. It's just one of those things that reminds
That's first day of school shirt right there.
Yeah, exactly. It is kind of first day of school shirt, and you wear that on St. Patty's Day as an Irishman. You want to have your best fit. You want to be doing everything you can to enjoy the day to the fullest, and that's what we've been doing. I mentioned in the first hour, we've been drinking Guinness and making fun of them, and there's nothing more fun than doing something like that on a day like today.
I believe it is Guinness or
Guinness, excuse me.
I believe I'm not 100% sure.
That's on me. That's what we were saying. We're saying Guinness in Ireland, so I figure we kind of
you were saying, I believe
plural Guinness.
Yeah, we had a good time in Ireland. By the way, I hope everybody's having as good a time as we did over there.
No, they definitely are on a day like today.
I hope they are. We had a blast over there. I don't know what's going on over there day to day. I guess my algorithm showcases them. I guess because my name's Patrick McAfee, they're like, you're going to want to see this, bub. And I'm like, okay. Hope it all gets figured out, obviously. We can't wait to get back there. The more events that Ireland hosts, the more opportunity it is for us to go over there. So every time we get a chance to, say, do we want to go to Ireland? Everybody in here goes, yeah. We would like to go to Ireland. Ireland's a fun time. They took care of us mightily, and obviously there's another college football game. I believe Iowa State is in that game.
Iowa State, Kansas
there's an NFL game obviously happening over there. A lot of things taking place in Ireland. We will enjoy it, as we will enjoy the Irish today. One half of the Hammer,
Dahn.
Cowboys, AP Tone is here, and joining us live from an attic in Ohio, ladies and gentlemen. He's a college football national champion, a Super Bowl champion, a Ryder Cup winner. Ladies and gentlemen, AJ Hawk.
Yeah, Hawker.
Oh, green hoodie.
Wow.
Green hoodie on AJ Hawk.
Good lad.
Hey, happy Patty's Day, America. That's what Connor told me this morning, so I strapped my green sweatshirt on. Yeah, it's a big day here. I live in Dublin, Ohio, so St. Patrick's Day is obviously a big day.
A lot of drunk whites rolling around tonight. I can't wait to see the photos or the rollout. Happy St. Patty's to you, bub, and it's a glorious day. Maybe a little shamrock, maybe a little lucky.
Sure.
Who didn't get lucky, AJ, over the weekend?
Who's that? I heard you're a little bit upset, huh?
West Virginia, Indiana, and Ohio State. Right. You need to start speaking up too, pal. You have a platform. Obviously, you're the former president of Ohio. Ohio State got screwed in this entire thing as well, pal.
Yeah, they did. The thing is, Ohio State, when they dropped their first game in the Big Ten tournament, I think everyone kind of knew their chances were very slim to get in. Now, West Virginia felt like they got even ripped off even more than the Ohio State team. So I guess we just had a couple days to prepare for this.
We dropped our first game in the Big 12 as well.
Well, I don't know what you guys were thinking after that, but I know at least Ohio State fans thought we missed our opportunity. We missed our chance here.
Well, our quad one record
so good.
Was so good.
6 wins in quad 1.
What do we got quad 1, quad 2, quad 3, and quad 4 for? If whenever we go to make decisions, we don't care if it's the first quad or the fourth quad.
Yeah.
Because UNC 1-12 or something in good quad games.
That's right.
West Virginia undefeated in good quad games, maybe one loss. So you tell me how that works out. Oh, I know how. The guy running the whole thing is getting 104 racks.
Whew.
If his team gets in, and all of a sudden he said he leaves the room. Okay, Bubba. I would like to let Bubba know that I understand he is a man of honor. I would assume some people would say that to know him. I understand he's probably a phenomenal athletic director, and I would hope that my athletic director would be in the room where it happened, making moves too, trying to get my school in there. That's why I'm saying, Ren Baker, hey, we need to get you in the room where it happened, Ren, so you can do some handshaking and maybe a little bit of moving and rattling and saying, next year maybe we shake your hand if your hand's located maybe still on your wrist or anywhere else, or if you need us to shake, rattle, and roll, we'll be able to do that. Ren Baker obviously said he was devastated for the team, disappointed for the team. Coach DeVries, who is potentially not going to be the coach of the Mountaineers much longer, which is the rumors around here. Are you guys hearing the same rumors in Iowa?
Yep, that and Drake's head coach as well. But apparently his buyout is pretty hefty, so I don't know if that is. But that is, yes, that he is linked to Iowa heavily.
Okay, so, that's what's happening in West Virginia. Yeah, it's a bummer, but we have to pick another team now. West Virginia said no to all tournaments, by the way. They said no to all of them.
Respect.
NIT, there's another one. No, we're not doing. Maybe, but it also might be because the coach. It all feeds the speculation that a coach who is a guy, seemingly good for West Virginia, his boy, good for West Virginia, and then we get him, and then all of a sudden he's gone. It's just like
that's tough.
That's a heartbreaker. That's a heartbreaker, especially if we're supposed to be in the tournament or not. So Con Man and I kind of put our wagon on the St. John's Johnny horse. Even more so after talking to Pitino in the last hour. What a legend of a man. Now, granted, that could change here in about 14 minutes. Whenever Coach Izzo of Michigan State joins us, we might latch our wagon elsewhere. But since Ohio State is not in, what is the team that you are potentially pulling for? I don't think I guess we picked St. John's. They're pretty high up. It could be anybody. What team are you latching?
No one seeds.
Yeah, no one seeds.
No one seeds. See, when I was a kid, whenever I thought a bracket, I always had Duke winning no matter what. I grew up a big Duke basketball fan.
Stay with Duke. You got Duke. Okay, we need somebody to represent Duke on this particular program.
Give me Duke.
Okay, so you got Duke. All right. Tone, who you going with?
North Carolina. I like what they did.
Okay, North Carolina.
Ooh.
Now.
Fair.
What'd they do, Tone?
Well, they potentially, their way.
Is this the first time anything like this has happened, this blatant?
Yeah, so the stats that are coming out are interesting. Like, West Virginia, and I don't know if this is a real stat, and I don't know who is the 111 people. There was 111 bracketologists or something that fill out their projected brackets. I don't know if it's media or pundits or experts or whoever it is. This is the first time ever that all 111 had one team in, and then they don't go in. So not even one out of the 111 experts thought that West Virginia was not going to be in there. And it's all because of the quad one shit. The quad one record, the quad two record, all the points, some of the wins, and yada, yada, yada. Now, granted, they exited early from the Big 12 tournament, so that was probably held against them. DeVries got hurt like months ago. They held that against them, too. It's like, okay, a lot of basketball has been played since that took place. But yeah, a lot of people are saying this is the first time in the history of basketball it's happening, even though every single year, we're talking 64 to 68 here. And people are upset about who didn't get in, which reminds us whenever we're talking 12-team playoff for football, they can make this thing a 100-team playoff. And 101, 102 are going to be pissed about not having the opportunity.
I changed my mind. I immediately regretted my decision.
Yes, who are you going with?
I'm going to go with Bruce Pearl and Auburn. I like the way that he talks about his guards.
Yep, he talked about his guards in a fashion and said they were tough. Now, he said it differently, and obviously there were some on the internet, they're like, you can't say that. Well, it's the real world. Everybody else was like, yeah, it's probably how a basketball coach talks to his team. And we're finally getting actual sports coverage. Like, hey, this is actually what it sounds like whenever a coach is talking to, yeah, but I don't like the way it sounds. Well, that's on you. We're just telling you how it actually goes as opposed to everything else. You saw his point guard was like, yep, absolutely. And Bruce just kept rolling. He said it and then just kept rolling. They had to stop him almost and be like, do you know what you, I don't. What are we even talking about?
Yeah.
That's the reason why our team's different.
It's a compliment.
Guys will get down and pay. Yeah,
it's a compliment.
I'm hyping up the boys here. I'm hyping up the boys in this entire thing. You're right. I mean, Auburn could certainly have a squad. Tennessee looked good. Florida looked great. Ty, what team are you picking? Because your team doesn't even have a coach right now.
Yeah, I'm going to roll with Drake. I'm going to stick with Iowa, the state of Iowa, and I'm going to go with the Drake Bulldogs, who a lot of 29-3. A lot of people said they got a job getting an 11 seed as well.
Okay, so we have our teams now that we're picking. I would like to showcase another one of the small schools that got in for the first time ever. And I guess the way people are talking about it down in Carolina, this school is a good time.
Oh, yeah.
When High Point University, the Big South champs, got announced into the bracket, their place went apeshit. Look at this video, AJ. That's awesome. I mean, that's what it's all about.
Huge pop.
That's what it's all about. They packed that whole fucking arena out just because they already knew because they were champs, so they're automatically in. It's like, let's just go find out where we're going to be. And then also, let's go berserk and let the world know how appreciative and pumped we are about this. I hope High Point does well. I hope they go on a magical run strictly because of the way they were rolled into my life, which is them getting announced their seeding in the tournament.
Yeah, I don't know, like how much. If you guys know a lot about High Point or not, the only thing I knew, like High Point, was where my wife goes there for a big interior design thing twice a year, and then I hear their college there is gigantic for like CEOs and big time business school and networking and everything. I don't know what you guys, if that's true or not.
So what we heard, and I think Connor knows a little bit more, so he'll go here in a second. What I heard from a lot of people is they have a good time down there. I heard it is a good time.
It's very nice, and you get set up for life if you do the right thing when you go to school there. That's what I hear.
And good time university, from what I heard. Yeah, people were talking about like not a lot of people make it, because good timing so much is what I heard.
Yeah, AJ kind of just said, if you do the right thing there, you're set up for good. But that's about 1% of the student body that does the right thing. I believe they have a couple pools on campus. What? You can just go outdoor pool.
I guess you got a pool in the middle of campus.
Yeah, you can go shoot the shit, just hanging out there. I actually did. I know a guy. It took him 8 years to graduate, and he didn't regret one of those years, even though it did cost him about $500,000 to get through his time there. But most people who end up at High Point, if they're not from a warm climate, they don't last at High Point. They have to go back up north, go back to the cold, and actually go to school somewhere.
Which I believe is why they have like an 80% acceptance rate. Like I've looked at like you don't even need to take like the ACT or the SAT to get in there. It's not like. So pretty much.
I'm way off. My bad. I'm way off on this school then. My bad.
You were saying a lot of things that I heard the complete opposite about.
No, I'm going off what one person told me. That's the problem I'm doing. I didn't check this person when they told me all this information. I'm like, oh, that's pretty cool, man. That's great.
Because I saw the video and I'm like, I love this place. Holy hell, I love this place. So I come in here this morning. Another coastal elitist, Bruce knew some people that potentially went down to High Point. Then we started looking into it. I think I think there was comparisons to South Harmon Institute of Technology, which I love. I absolutely love that. But the way they reacted to the seating, it's like, that looks like a place I would love to go to. And I assume there's going to be even more people. Now, what did you learn in more of your research about the place?
Like I said, and it must be because they like to have a good time down there. If you're letting 80% of the people who, want to go to your school in, a lot of people are dropping out. So I think it's very, very easy to get in there, which isn't necessarily a bad thing. It's kind of a come one, come all situation. And guess what? If you can't hack it here, at least you have a great story to tell after a year or two.
We hope, I don't know what their football team, if they have a football team, but we hope they have a massive football game someday and would love to come do a show there.
Oh, yeah.
Would love to come to High Point just because of the energy that is seemingly around that university. Let's pivot away from the madness. We'll dabble back in about 7 minutes or so when Michigan State icon Coach Izzo joins us. Let's talk about the NFL, more specifically Cincinnati, Ohio. They get Jamar Chase and T. Higgins' deals done. Jamar Chase becomes the highest paid non-quarterback in the history of the NFL, $40.25 a year. You see, if Myles Garrett's going to get 40, I'll get a little bit more than that. He certainly did. And T. Higgins becomes the highest paid number 2 wideout in the history of the NFL, both over $100 million. Now, granted, the Super Bowl champions have paid 2 wideouts at a very high clip. They also paid a quarterback a high number. They've now paid their running back at a high number, and they were able to win the Super Bowl. Now, they had a lot of young dogs on the defense. They were able to build up an offensive line and become the best in the NFL and go on a run. What does this deal or these deals say to you, AJ? And what is most important now for the Bengals to get back into the relevancy of the Super Bowl? They're going to be able to score. They're going to be able to light it up. I think if they hit on a couple key pieces, welcome back Bengals. Is that how you're feeling? And is that how Ohio feels?
Yeah, I feel like this is a turning point for the Bengals as a franchise, as an organization. What do you think of when people think of the Bengals? They think, oh, they're family run, they're cheap, they don't want to spend money, they're not going to do this. But we know we've talked about the indoor facility they have now, and I didn't think there was a chance that they were going to sign both these guys. I thought they were only going to be able to find a way to get Jamar done. But I believe Rap Sheet last week said it's definitely possible that they're going to get both these guys done, and now they're talking about their ongoing talks with Trey Hendrickson. If they can get Trey back as well, then this is like turning the page. This is a new Bengals organization.
Before we dive into Trey Hendrickson, for these 2 dudes, congratulations.
Unreal.
Yeah.
And to your point about Cincinnati Bengals spending money, to the Bengals fans, congratulations.
Yeah.
This is a fantastic time to be a Bengals fan. You got a quarterback from Ohio. He's got his pieces that he absolutely loves, and your team's investing and doing business. You talk about that indoor facility. He also sold the naming rights to the stadium for the first time in the history. So it's like, welcome to the Cincinnati Bengals. I'm excited to see if it works out. Now, with Trey Hendrickson, there's been a lot of different reports. I believe Diana Rossini tweeted sources say Cincinnati is working to retain Trey Hendrickson and discussions are ongoing between the two sides. The Bengals are attempting to do what many in the league thought difficult and keep and pay all 3 of their stars. Then Jeremy Fowler put out a tweet this morning that was basically alluding to the same thing about the pieces that would have to fall in place for a deal with Trey Hendrickson to take place. That feels difficult. That feels like
really difficult.
That feels like a very tough move at this particular case, especially what the market is for a sack king like player. Hopefully, we'll be able to learn more over the next few days. But this one feels very difficult. So I understand that they've said that they were going to sign T and Jamar, and T even put out a cap thing, and then they get the deal done. And I understand they said they're going to sign Trey Hendrickson as well. But in the modern world, this one feels like it's going to be difficult to get done just because he's coming off his best season. He's the best in the league. And this is potentially the last time deal is going to happen for Trey. So that'll be impressive. If Duke does this, you're talking about magician with this entire thing, and obviously we're pulling for him.
Yeah, it just doesn't seem possible. Like if you look at Max Crosby, what he get, $91.5 million guaranteed, and then Myles Garrett got $110 million guaranteed. I forget if that number's correct, but it was north of $100 million. And both those guys didn't have the year that Trey Hendrickson did. And sure, Trey's 30, 31, but then there's reports about teams from GMs that they're calling, and the asking price for Trey is
impossible
to meet. Yeah, so it does feel like one of those situations where, unfortunately for Trey Hendrickson, he's about to bite the hey, this is how Cincinnati does business bullet.
No, Cincinnati's new business.
Yeah, well, we know how that works. And the T and Jamar thing is incredible. The fact that they could get that done is awesome. But, you posted something on X last night, and it was just a question. Is this style of ball, is pouring $125 million in cap hit between your quarterback and two wide receivers, is this, a way to get back to the Super Bowl? Yeah, there it is. Can Cincy make it back to the Super Bowl? And I think if we've learned anything from the past two Super Bowls, no is the answer. And I know it stinks for Cincy. And
Eagles paid two guys. They paid a quarterback.
Yeah, for $100 million less than what the Cincinnati Bengals just did.
But salary cap went up.
But the salary cap did go up, absolutely. But the thing is, too, the Eagles have those very pivotal positions on defense locked in with the draft, and Cincinnati can absolutely draft guys. And I saw a report that was kind of mind-blowing, and that was that the Bengals are really going to have to nail their draft picks on defense, which, holy shit, I didn't even think of that. Maybe they do that, and then they're fine, and it doesn't really matter. But the thing with the Eagles is they did nail their draft picks, all of them, at the most important positions, the D-line and the corners. And so it's one of those situations, and the Chiefs even and the Rams going back to the Super Bowl from the 2023 season, like that was a ground and pound, like, hey, we're going to beat you up, we're going to hold on to the ball, it's going to be possession, versus what Cincinnati seems to be fixing to do, which is still electrifying football. Like that, it is cool to watch them throw it all over the yard, and a lot of fantasy teams are going to have their players.
The Eagles have the best offensive line in football.
Boom.
That's a whole another conversation about whenever you start comparing the team. Well, they paid two wide receivers, paid the quarterback, even paid the running back. It's like they have the best offensive line in ball. They lose Jason Kelsey, still have the best offensive line in
prepared.
Football. That is a massive ordeal. Like, can Joey B stay upright? If he can, the offense can go. Now, how are you going to stop the other team? And are you going to be able to give your defense enough rest? I don't know. I'm excited to see their vision, because obviously Duke is a good football mind. They were in a Super Bowl just a few years ago. Yeah. So can they replicate that? We shall see.
Yeah, if I'm a Bengals fan, I'm spinning it like this because I've watched terrible offensive football over the last however many years. I think it's easier to get better quicker on the defensive side. So if you are going to pay a side, I think the right side to pay is offense. So because you're not going to it's just the Eagles went from 26th in 2023 in defense. They get a new DC, which the Bengals are going to do. And then as long as you hit on your first two draft picks, and they're incredible corners, and they turn out to be great, and you're off your defensive line youngins, they're playing well too. You get pretty good on defense pretty quickly.
Okay, so congrats to the Bengals and today's boys. Trey Hendrickson, I don't want to be a bearer of negative news, but that feels like that's going to be tough. That feels like that's going to be tough. Only 1 year left on his deal. This is from Jeremy Fowler. A few things to keep in mind as the Bengals try to extend Trey Hendrickson. Uptick in talks occurred late last week before the Higgins-Chase started to get locked in. There's definitely trade interest, but the Bengals have not shown an eagerness to deal him. Okay, we've heard the same thing. This will inevitably be a new money issue. Currently owed $16 million in 2025, so even if Cincy offers 2 years, $60 million, that makes 3 for $76. This dynamic is a factor here. Yeah, because 90-something became number for Max just a few weeks ago. So, how will they be able to do it? Duke was able to get it done with the wide receivers, so hopefully he'll be able to do it with Trey, but that seems unlikely. But if it is unlikely, how come they won't
let him go
entertain some trade talks?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's all they're negotiating through the media as well, I would imagine. They want to get if they're going to deal him, they want you to, hey, come throw us a few first-round picks or something.
Yeah,
which isn't going to happen. But.
No chance.
Yeah, I think that's potentially what has been happening,
Yeah.
Hey, you want Trey Hendrickson? Sweet. We need four ones. We're not going to do that.
Oh, we got to pay him too?
Oh, okay.
Oh, all
right, we'll do it. You guys said you wanted them. We have them.
What DK go for? DK Metcalf, different position?
Second.
But, yeah, okay.
Well, everybody wants a first and something. Mm-hmm. And then all of a sudden reality sets in.
Yeah.
And it's like, we'll take a second. Yeah, we'll take a second. We'll do that for sure. And then some guys go for an absurd haul.
Oh, yeah.
You are exactly what you're worth, and your worth is what somebody's willing to give. And that is just kind of how it all works out. Congrats to Derek Stingley Jr., speaking of worth. Highest paid corner, $30 million a year he's getting from the Houston Texans. This is obviously a massive signing for corners as a whole. We had D-Butt on in the first hour. He is currently at his daughter's volleyball tournament down in New Orleans. Good luck. Hey, let's go. Let's get some wins. He said that they run into some teams that got some high from different states, but they're going to battle just like this dude. Absolute stud. You know, D-Butt brought up how injuries early kind of slowed down, but then whenever he was 100% healthy, he's become exactly what they projected for him to become. Caserio didn't want to lose him. Caserio paid him a shit ton of money, and he becomes the third, I guess, multi-generational player to get broken off at the DB position. Surtain obviously gets paid a shit ton of money. J.C. Horn gets paid a shit ton of money. Now Derek Stingley Jr. gets paid a shit ton of money, and Jalen Ramsey rounds out like the top 4 in DB pay. How do you feel about this signing, AJ? And what were your thoughts immediately upon reading it? I was surprised with the number. I was very surprised that it was 30 a year, but I was incredibly pumped for Derek and his family.
Yeah, I mean, I guess you're surprised by the number, but with the salary cap going up and the salary some of these dudes are getting, I'm not shocked by it. But D-Butt said it best. I mean, when you have a guy that can line up outside, he can follow the best receiver, and you can trust him, and you feel very, very good about that, it opens up your whole playbook as a defensive coordinator. So, yeah, I give him credit for getting this thing done. Who knows what a corner is going to get 2 years from now. So good for them and good for Derek Stingley Jr. If you can cover guys and you can rush the passer defensively, you are going to get paid. That is for sure.
Okay, so I don't want to, hypothesize too much because, I'm a dumbass, so why would I want to do that about what the future potentially looks like? But now that we're getting back to running a lot, being able to on the outside is going to be vital. So we go back now to the Darrelle Revis type days, whenever people are just locking people down so you can commit more to the box because it feels like the box is going to become more important with the prevalence of running coming back into football. So if you got a guy, I think you're going to keep a guy, and that means those prices should go. There's going to be a high end, and then there's going to be a young group. That's what there's going to be. I don't think there's going to be any more middle ground at corner, where they're going to move into safety or nickel or something like that. I think with how you're going to have to commit to the run game, and I might be talking completely out of pocket. I am a doofus. But with how you're going to have to commit to the run game, I think they're going to want to have guys that can ISO. I think that is going to be we either got a guy that can ISO and we're going to pay him, or we're looking for somebody that can do it. I think that's potentially the next step, AJ. You would know football better than me. Your early thoughts on my hypothesis.
I like that. And think about, just think defensively. If you were a coach and you know every team you play has whoever their number one receiver is an absolute monster. He's a complete stud. A lot of teams now have 2, sometimes 3 guys like that. So if you at least have one lockdown cover corner that you feel great about, that he can take their best player away or at least limit their explosives, yeah, it really opens up everything else you can do. And like you said, it is a cool time in the NFL that we are getting back to some physical downhill football when it really matters. And if you have a dude outside like that you feel good about, it just makes your job that much easier as a play caller.
Revis is literally just, all right, they were playing 10 on 9 or 10 on 8 or whatever, on that defense because it was just Revis is going to do Revis, and then we all can now play football. That is a weapon, Like Rex Ryan obviously understood that. Bill Belichick obviously understood that. And I'm not saying that there's going to be just Darrelle Revis is falling out of trees, but it's like everybody's going to be looking for that now, especially with this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's back.
Yeah. Because you'd be like, well, why would skill positions get paid? Well, because they need a counter so that we can send more meat and more men at these running backs that are fast, strong, and bigger than they've ever been in the past.
Yeah, and it's not just running backs now. Every single quarterback can run.
Good call.
Like it was 10 on 9 when Revis was there, but it's 10 on 10 now. Every single QB is moving around, especially the young ones that are coming into the league. Like you saw what Jaden Daniels did. I'm not saying anybody else is going to be able to do, that, but just looking at the QBs that are, projected in the first round now, Shador, Cam Ward, Jackson Dart, like when we pull up their highlights, they're running. They're moving around all over the place. So like even that aspect of it makes you think like, okay, well, having those man guys on the outside, and then to AJ's point about him getting paid, he's going to be 24 in June. That's a 3-year extension. Like think about when he's 28 being able to re-up again, and who knows where the league will be at then. It might already be turned back to throwing the ball all over the place again.
All right, let's go back to the madness that is March. Ladies and gentlemen, it is an absolute honor to be joined by this icon from Michigan State. He became the head coach up there in 1995. 8 Final Four appearances, a national championship. Obviously, an absolute stud and a paisan that has led Michigan State in a way that has every Spartan fan around the globe saying that's our guy?
Legend, GOAT, the best. Love Tom Izzo so much.
That's Evan Fox.
You have no idea.
Evan Fox actually put a photo of he and Coach Izzo into the group this morning when he was 10 years old.
Yep.
Wow.
2005 Michigan State basketball camp right there.
Ladies and gentlemen, the man from that photo alongside Evan Fox, Coach Tom Izzo. Coach, how you doing?
Well, I know your show is a little different than most, but I didn't think you guys were drinking on the show. I mean, God almighty, that's a little bit too much for me. I don't deserve that, but I do. It is an honor to be on your show. I think I know my buddy Mariucci just talked to you the other day, and him and I have been a long time together, so this is great. I'm a football guy at heart. I actually like football more than basketball.
Okay, well, that's probably why your teams are so damn tough, and why we have so much appreciation. And that's what I was telling Coach Mariucci, and he said, obviously, he grew up with you in Michigan, has watched this, tries to support as much as possible, says he comes to every Big Ten championship, says he's tried to get to a couple games this year that are historic. Let's talk about that now. You've been breaking a lot of people's records as you've continued to go here with Michigan State. And every record that passes, do you try to celebrate? Do you try to think back? Do you reminisce? Is there nostalgia? How do you handle all the shit that's kind of coming with this stage of your career at Michigan State?
Well, Mariucci came in for our Indiana game. I was supposed to break Bob's record then, and we lost at home. So Mariucci wasn't invited back for a month. I got rid of him. But you know what? Those kind of records aren't as important to me because that just means you stayed somewhere a long time. I think the records that are important to me are the banners that hang and the rings you get and the things that'll last. Records are made to be broken. Banners are made to stay forever.
11-time Big Ten season champions, obviously. And you say just because the records happen is because you stay somewhere a long time. That's very rare, man, especially nowadays, Coach. They'll get rid of people. They will can people. They will move on. Fran just got moved on in Iowa. I think a lot of people assumed he'd probably be there for a long time. But everybody in Michigan State loves you, from the football people to every single fan. It's like you embrace everything that is Michigan State. What does that mean to you? And what is Michigan State to those that maybe don't understand? What are the type of people? What is the type of culture that you try to have with your team?
Well, we're kind of the blue-collar institution in this state, and damn proud of it, by the way. But, Nick Saban and I started together as assistants. Then we started together as head coaches and kind of had similar philosophies. And, what I've enjoyed about Michigan State, they've been good to me. I think I've been decent to them. And, the blue-collarness is what I like. It's a there's many different kinds of people here and multicultural in a lot of ways. And, we are what we are. And for the most part, I'm really proud of what we are. Mark D'Antonio came here and we went to a Final Four. They went to a Final Four in the same year. Those are exciting times when you can do things like that.
Yeah, Foxy still remembers getting all boozed up.
I was in college when that happened, Coach. So I went to both the Final Four in Indianapolis, watched your team, and I watched the football team as well. One of the greatest years of my entire life.
Yeah,
Foxy, we love you for that, man. We love you.
Let's go, baby, Coach. Foxy! You have no idea. You're the legend.
Foxy actually has a question for you, Coach.
Okay, Coach. January, February, Izzo is an absolute real thing. I've watched it my entire life, and I just need to know from your perspective, what's the secret sauce? How do you do it? Is it just a combination of the entire season coming together and finally you're getting hot at the right time? Or do you actually right now at this time crank practice up, do anything different? I need to know because I've watched it so many times in my life.
Well, these last couple of years, there was no March then because it was January, February, and things weren't as good. But, for the most part, guys, we have had some luck in March. I said God put March on the planet for basketball coaches, and it's been good to me. But I think it's a combination of things, some good players. I think we try to, after the first couple of years, year 4, we were in a Final Four. Year 5, we won it. And I kind of learned then that this is the new standard. Nothing else will be accepted, and you got to build towards it, and you don't want to be so good in December and then not very good. You don't want to burn guys out. So we've kind of had a philosophy, and at the same time, I'm the luckiest guy in America. Why Michigan State? from Magic Johnson, Mateen Cleaves, Steve Smith, Draymond Green. I mean, those guys are all calling back now this week and making sure they're threatening our guys, to be very blunt and honest about it. They threaten them, and that works better than the coach doing anything.
Hey, the standard's the standard, okay? We will rip those jerseys off of your backs. You don't show up. I got respect for that. When the alumni buys in, especially whenever you've been around that long, it's easier to sell to the team, I would assume. Go ahead, AJ.
Coach, you mentioned that you like football better than basketball. What is it about football that you love so much? And do you ever, incorporate some kind of football drills, bring the pads in, knock the guys around a little bit at practice?
Hell yeah.
Well, I can tell you the funny story now. You probably heard it, but in 2000, 2001, when we won the national champ, we went to 3 Final Fours, and we went to Ohio State, and we lost the rebound battle for the first time in, I think, 18 games. And I said then, I got back, I told my equipment man, call Saban, tell him I need 12 sets of gear at practice tomorrow. We play a game called the War Game. It's a rebounding drill. So we had practice. I was mad. I brought out the pads. All the players, the 6'9" guys are wondering what the hell is a pad. So Mateen Cleaves was teaching guys how to button their chin straps. He was loving it. I was mad. I wanted it to be a grind drill. They started having so much fun. For 15 minutes, we beat the hell out of each other and nobody got hurt. Now, if I did that today, I'd probably get sued. So I don't do that as much anymore. But that was fun. And you know what? I had Zach Randolph. I had some guys that got after it. Yeah. And that's why we went to 3 straight Final Fours.
Okay, so hold on. I know you can't do the drill now, but let's go back in time. We're on wood with pads? Are we on a wrestling mat? Can you take me through the drill? How's this? Are we just, what are we, Oklahoma drills? What's going on?
Coastal Oklahoma drills. I know that one too, but 5 guys line up under the basket, 5 guys at the 3-point line. Boom, we hit each other, and whoever gets the ball gets the ball. And it was all on hardwood. It was a football team on hardwood. It was, somebody called my team that at the Final Four that year. They said, well, that's nothing but a football team on hardwood. And he was right, but it won a national championship, so it wasn't all that bad.
No, we need to get the pads back out.
Yeah.
We need to get the pads back out, it sounds like. I like that you have a tough team. I like that that's part of your culture, the blue collar. And it came out on senior night. One guy was ready to fight 2 people. Go ahead, Con Man.
Yeah, Coach, as a football guy, clearly you were pretty pumped about Trey Holloman kind of throwing down at midcourt when Michigan decided to, basically do the exact wrong thing. There's actually cut up footage of them not standing there for any free throws until then. It became a little bit of a scene. And then after the game, of course, you gave the speech and kind of gave Trey that honor as a junior to kiss the logo at midcourt, which is reserved for seniors only. When a moment like this happens, is this something you're showing every recruit? Like, hey, you're coming to Michigan State. This is the kind of guy we want, being able to throw down for your teammates. And how proud were you when, just watching from the sideline after the dust settled, like, wow, Trey Holloman's an absolute junkyard dog, and we got to love that.
Well, first of all, time out. I wasn't proud of it. I got to do my job, and I didn't even know what happened. But you got to flash back to the Fab Five sitting with their butt on that thing, rubbing it on it. There was a lot of things people don't know. When you've been here 30 years, I was actually here 40 because I was here as an assistant. So there was a lot more to it. I talked to my players about it, but I don't condone anything that is that crazy. I'm not that crazy, and I didn't condone it, but I felt like after I heard what happened, after I saw the voice stuff, there was a lot more to it than the average person would know. So I just wanted to make sure they know everybody's got a tradition. Can you imagine, guys? You guys, you played football, both of you. Can you imagine the banner at Michigan that they touch every time they come out? If our football team stood under it and didn't let them do it, there'd be 100,000 fans fighting.
Yes.
So, that's just the way it is.
I got it. And I think all of us respected and appreciated the way you handled it with your player. Now, the Michigan people are going to be like, hey, they're just standing there. What do you want them to do? There's always going to be an out. But I do appreciate the rivalry. Like that only happens in a rivalry.
Yeah, it's weird how it's never their fault either. But, neither here nor there.
Coach, don't laugh.
Coach, you know it.
He does it well. But you know what? You about one thing that a rivalry, like John Beeline used to ask me, one day I said, well, you got to hate your rivals. You can respect them. You can't like them. Do you like your wife's ex-boyfriend? I mean, it's illegal to do that.
Respect. Ty has a question for you, Coach.
Coach, being another Big Ten guy, I've watched enough of your teams over the course of my life to know that you're not exactly, about the bullshit. Everyone these days is kind of talking about how much kids have changed from, maybe 20, 25 years ago. How much has your coaching philosophy changed over the course of your career, and how different is it coaching kids now than it maybe was when you had those teams with Mateen Cleaves and Mo Pete and guys like that?
Oh, those guys were fist fighters, I mean, it has changed, but I use the football term all the time, when things change and you got all these different offenses and defenses, and at the end of the day, you still got to be able to block, tackle, and not turn the ball over, and in basketball, you still got to be able to defend and rebound to win on the road and not turn the ball over. So I think I've changed some, unfortunately. I think I'm getting back to my old self. Your show maybe brings it to fact. You say and do what you want on this. You're not politically correct all the time.
Whoa.
And I would be considered not a politically correct guy all the time. But I think if you spend time with your players, they know you're coaching them to win championships. You want them to be pros. They want to do these things that 1% of the world does, but they think everybody should just be able to do it by patting you on the back and nice job, buddy. You just missed 10 shots in a row. That's great,
Yeah, but remember, the old cliche is they don't care what you know until they know that you care. Obviously,
exactly.
Those moments.
On my desk.
Yeah. Oh, really? Oh, wait.
Yeah, I had a sign that fell down, but I keep it on my desk all the time because you're right about that. It is true. I got to make sure I get in here.
Oh no. This is the 20 years difference thing too. It's got a half face. You need to slide to your right, I think.
To my right?
Boom.
There you go. Is that better?
Smack the wood, slide to the left.
There you go.
Yeah, perfect. You nailed it. Absolutely.
Oh, the other right. I got it.
Yeah, that's a cliche for a reason though. What people see on TV at the biggest game, a coach and a player interacting, they don't see the actual hundreds of hours beforehand to get to know that person. Are you a guy that views all of them like your kids? You hear a lot of coaches say that type of thing. I wouldn't let my kids do this, so I'm not going to let my players do this. Is that how your relationship is with the boys on the team? And has it been that way throughout the entirety? Have you had to evolve?
Well, my two kids are now 30 and 25, and I unfortunately, I have to admit, I spent more time with my players than I did my kids, and that's not always fair. That's the reality of coaching, as I think every football and basketball coach and probably other sports too, but that is the reality of it. I try to bring my family in with my team because you don't get enough family time unless you do that. But hell yeah, you look at them, you want them to be successful. You want them to be great. You want them to win championships. You want them to have a life after basketball. I mean, really our job is to make the next 70 years better than the first 20. It's getting harder to do because holding people accountable and things is, people look at that as illegal nowadays.
I think it's coming back. Stay strong. I think it's coming back for the good of everybody. By the way, for the good of everybody. If everybody's allowed to make money and earn money for what they do and what they bring, sweet. If they're also able to evolve and to become men, going forward, and women in sports, that'll be great for society as a whole. I think it's coming back. Tona is the last question for you here, Coach Izzo.
Yeah, Coach, kind of around the family and the 20 years difference and being able to coach guys harder. Is it easier when you have Jason Richardson's kid, Jace Richardson, on the team? Are you allowed to coach him a little harder because he is the son of a professional athlete and they kind of just come in with an idea of the work and the ethic and all that you have to come in to be successful?
Jace has been a treat. He was not only raised by his father, who was 14 years in the league and won, championship, 2 Final Four, a national championship here, and all the things he accomplished. But his mother's a coach too. She coached him. So he's getting it from all sides. And he has been an easy kid to coach because, he expects more of himself than I expect of him. And that's pretty cool when that happens. So yeah, Jason has helped. And when Jason was here with Mateen and those guys, man, it was a little crazier back then, but it was fun too. And it's an honor that he'd let his son come play for me after 25 years.
For your team to go on a run, what do they have to do, Coach? What is your main thing here for your squad?
Yeah, we got to get a little better with our three-point shooting. That's been a weakness all year, but we've defended, we've rebounded, we've ran good, we've shot free throws, we got to the line. You got to be good enough to be great and then lucky enough to win in this tournament, because there's always a Cinderella out there, or there's always an upset waiting. You know, unlike your guys' sport, football, usually the bigger, stronger, better team wins. We got to put that damn orange thing in that hoop. And some nights, no matter how good a play you run, it just doesn't get there. And so that's why I say you got to be a little lucky too. But I like the fact that our defense travels, and we'll see what it can do for us.
All right, Coach. Well, good luck. And hopefully it's 9 Final Fours for you in all of the Sparties. Foxy, you have anything to say to him on the way out?
Coach, thanks for everything. You're the man. You're the GOAT. Can't wait to watch you guys win the title this year.
And
go green.
There you go. Go white.
Hell yeah. That was a big moment for Foxy there. It was a big moment. We appreciate you, Coach. Ladies and gentlemen, Tom Izzo.
Yeah, Coach.
Needed you to get a go white back for him.
Had to.
Yeah, had
Get
to
this
do
guy
it.
a new pair of
I
pants.
thought you weren't going to do it there at the end.
No, thank you. You lobbed that one up for me.
Yeah, well, also I thought we were going to miss the entire. What's the entire thing here? The entire thing is go green, go white with Coach Izzo. Got that photo of it. If 10-year-old me would only know.
Watch this.
Congrats to you, Foxy.
Yeah, it's cool. I mean, you grow up in the Lansing area. He literally is God, like actually.
Foxy has loved Michigan State.
Yeah.
Loudly, proudly, through a lot.
Mm-hmm. Ride or die.
And when you play basketball
all.
from the Lansing area, every single coach you ever have tries to be Tom Izzo. And it means you're running a lot, you're physical, the rebounding, all that, you're getting yelled at all the time. And obviously none of them are Tom, but that's how it is.
Really?
Do they
He got an octave up there.
He's known for his raspy voice because he's yelling all the time.
Raspy.
No, so my voice, he did have a raspy voice there. It was fantastic. My voice gets like that whenever I lose it, and I never know if there's going to be a voice there. So, like, I'll go to speak, which is tough whenever you're a professional speaker, not knowing if you're going to have it. So every once in a while, you'll travel to a different octave because you know
you have to go.
You know it's there. You know it's there. So whenever he did the rivalries and got all the way up there, I'm like, oh, I wonder if he was battling there. Didn't know if the voice was going to be. These basketball coaches, some of them, him. Very much so.
Oh, definitely. Had they won Saturday and played yesterday, he probably would have had no voice.
Him and Hurley?
Yeah, it feels like all the most successful ones. Calipari, Pitino, like all the ones that actually go.
They get.
Oh, yeah. Last year, I think it was last year, right, Foxy? Where he was ripping a kid on the sideline. Was it 2 years ago?
No, was it for a 3-point? I'm trying to, as he brought it up, like every once in a while I'll get after a guy, and I'm not always politically correct. I remembered him on the sideline.
People killing him.
People were so mad. It might have been 2 years ago.
Might have been 2, yeah.
As he was saying it, I was like, oh, yeah.
Killing
I do
him.
remember you getting fucking after somebody.
Yes.
I like that, though. I like good accountability coaching.
You have to in basketball. Basketball, I feel like you kind of have to. Like, you got to be on them every second, because if you have one lapse, the team goes on a run, you're done.
Did you see the player that I think was it Michigan? His gum fell out and he decided to pick up his gum off the floor. He got back cut, easy layup. Screwed him.
Who's coach at Michigan? First year there, right?
Dusty May.
First year at Michigan,
Yep.
wins the Big Ten. I think he's the first coach ever to win the Big Ten tournament in his first year as the head coach, I believe, is what I heard yesterday. I was trying to keep up with all the news and learn as much as I possibly could. I had to go over to CBS Sports Network. They had a show on for a long time. I appreciate them. They were on for like 3 hours afterwards, breaking down every single team. I was trying to learn everything I possibly could.
Yeah.
It was hard to find information out there from any other network. CBS was seemingly on it. We appreciate them doing that. Biggest story of the day is what? Oh, the fucking bracket's out?
By
Okay.
far.
Who are these teams? Can we learn about them? CBS did that for us. So shout out to them, and shout out for spending a day with them. Also yesterday, AJ, I don't know if you saw this. The players had like a 4-hour rain delay. Thunder, lightning down there in Jacksonville. Rory McIlroy, was he going to blow it after such a long wait? Well, he ended up tying with a man named Spawn. Then they slept on it overnight. Spawn, probably not a lot. Rory knew it was going to be St. Patty's whenever he woke up in the morning and had an opportunity to win his 28th PGA Tour Championship.
Damn.
Rory, very early, very quickly, established dominance over Spawn. First hole would end up getting a birdie with a beautiful drive and a beautiful chip in a wonderful putt. He would be -1 through the first hole of a 3-hole aggregate battle. And he didn't have much competition. Spawn lasted about one shot on 18, and the first hole, he sprayed it into the rough, couldn't even see the ball. Then they get to 17, the second hole, he puts one in the water, as expected. He was +3 through 2 holes against Rory McIlroy, and Rory just coasted to a dub in a 3-hole extra playoff this morning down at the Players in Jacksonville. And I'll tell you, it was pretty obvious what was going to happen literally from the first swing of Spawn. And that's like the experience. That's understanding. And I think it's a little bit of the Irish understanding that St. Paddy's Day needed a Rory dub. AJ, from the beginning of this week where Rory was grabbing phones of collegiate golfers to now being the champion on a Monday with the longest players in a long time, how do you feel for the state of golf? I watched yesterday and would have watched if there was no delay, and did watch after the delay. I enjoy that golf is back.
Yes, but I think this venue makes it awesome. Obviously, the Island Green, then the winds picked up on the weekend. Like, these guys make it look too easy, though. That's the problem. Like, they're shooting these crazy scores when it's blowing crazy wind. It doesn't matter. They just find a way to continue to score. But, yeah, I felt like if you watch Spawn, if he would have drained that birdie putt on 18 on Sunday night to win it all, boom, he goes home. He wins it. When he left that thing like an inch short, you felt like, all right, yeah, it's been a good run, bud, but it's going to be tough for you to win this 3-hole playoff tomorrow.
Yeah, he's going to have to eat dinner on this. He's going to have to lay down on this. Him and his brain and his pillow tonight are going to have a lot of chat about, yeah, I'm supposed to win this thing tomorrow morning. 3 best holes of my life.
3 very difficult holes. 16, 17, 18 seem scary as hell to play as well.
Yeah, hard closer, which I respect out of the way the whole TPC Sawgrass is constructed in it all. I put out a tweet that said, it's St. Paddy's. Like, Rory has no chance of losing this. And it really did feel that way. Like, even from their warm-up to them showing up to getting to the first hole, it all felt like Rory was comfortable and Spawn was not. And that is the game of golf.
And Rory even said, I think Rory coming into it knew that. I think he said, hey, after he won, he said, this is the 4th time I have won on St. Paddy's Day. And now Rory joins Jack, Tiger, and Scotty Scheffler as the only players in the history of golf to win multiple players and multiple major championships. So, yeah, it's quite a group to be a part of.
Congratulations to Rory McIlroy. Obviously, a beautiful day for the Irish lad. And now the next tournament, starts tomorrow? That golf for life.
Yeah.
He's quite a grind, but he won $4.5 million, I believe, today at the Players. And they went back to, what's that?
I thought it was more like 5 and...
I think the tweet I saw said $4.5 million because Jack was like 50,000 or something whenever he won way back in the day, and how much golf has kind of evolved and changed.
Yeah, and Spawn got like 2.275 million. Like, both are still going home very happy.
He knew that last night when he was laying down.
Exactly. Yeah.
Worst thing happens, I win 2.27 million.
Yeah.
Okay.
And he's exempt into a lot of the big tournaments too the rest of the year. Still like a life-changing second-place finish for him.
It certainly is. Let's do another NFL deal that happened over the weekend. Mekhi Becton is signed with the Chargers to play guard, 2-year, $20 million. Congrats to Mekhi. Mekhi goes from being a bust out of the Jets at tackle, goes to Statland University in Philadelphia, moves down to guard, becomes a dominant interior offensive lineman, wins a Super Bowl, and now signs a 2-year, $20 million deal on a Jim Harbaugh team. So congrats to Mekhi. They're going to love him over there, I think, from everything we heard. And once Herb gets his hands on Mekhi in that weight room, the sky is the limit for old Mekhi in that offensive line.
Yeah, we've talked about the Silver Bells Club with Khalil Mack, using those 200-pound dumbbells. I assume Mekhi Becton might have some of that in his future as well.
Ladies and gentlemen, before we wrap up here on ESPN on this St. Paddy's Madness Monday, March 17th, 2025, happy St. Paddy's Day to all of you. Who would we be if we didn't bring in our favorite Irishman? Ladies and gentlemen, from the WWE, Sheamus.
Yeah, Sheamus!
Tell you what the crack over here, you really?
Hey!
It's like the old days, fell apart a few points. Paul here, come over here and say hello, will you? Paul owns the Mulligan's Bar here in Hoboken.
Everybody.
Hey, Slancha Paul.
I hope we looked after you when you were in Dublin, Pat.
Oh, he
looked after you.
Yeah, a lot of those Guinnesses, bub. A lot of Guinnesses, Paul. I had a good time over there, pal. Thanks for the hospitality.
That's brilliant. Happy St. Patrick's Day.
Hey, happy St. Patrick's Day.
We're pouring a few for you here, lads.
Okay.
Get on the jet there, Pat. Get on the jet, get over here, right?
All right. Hey,
a few points. Slancha, fella.
Hey, Slancha, Sheamus. Slancha, buddy. Happy St. Patty's. Hey, thank you, Irish people. All right, Slancha.
Another great night we'll never remember.
Okay, yep, amen. Have a good.
Oh, go on.
Go on, Sheamus. Go on, Sheamus. Go on, Sheamus. Okay, thank you, Sheamus. Slancha, Sheamus. Happy St. Patty's Day. Okay, all right.
Legend.
All right, have a
He's the
good
man.
one. That was chocolate milk. Obviously, he would never chug actual beer on television.
No, that'd be stupid.
Yeah, I would never do that. He's going to have a good one today.
Oh, yeah.
I mean,
Holy shit.
Seamus is ready to go. We will continue this program on YouTube, ESPN Plus, Disney Plus, and TikTok Live. The March Madness stuff is so spectacular because it's a sport we rarely pay attention to on this particular program, and then it injects itself into our life and it takes over. And I can't thank the College Hoops Committee enough, or community enough, for kind of building to this moment. And from what I've heard, the SEC is about to walk right through this thing. Or will the St. John's Johnnies make some magic? How about some teams out of the Big 12 that maybe got in over top of West Virginia? Will they be able to do their thing? Big 10, grind and pound football. Are you going to be able to go? Or maybe a Cinderella story that won their conference championship for an automatic bid. Who's going to turn their school into a place that every basketball fan on earth knows about? Who's going to change their enrollment from 1 to maybe triple the size in one magical moment to a shining moment just a few weeks from now? That's what March Madness is all about. So from us to college basketball, Slancha. Happy St. Patty's Day. We'll see you tomorrow. Goodbye. I don't think we're off yet.
Yeah, I was going to say, did we change it to 153?
No, yeah, it was 54:30.
Yeah.
Got another minute and a half.
All right, cool.
Sweet.
Yeah, it was good. Maybe the best sign off in the history.
That's all time.
Just know you guys, it's 153 right now.
We're still on. I think we're still on.
Still live.
Perfect.
That might be my favorite thing that's ever happened.
Yeah, pretty good little happening there. I'll tell you, it's been a great St. Patty's morning.
Fantastic. I mean, one of the best days of the year. Start to finish, really.
Tim McAfee went to a beer garden this weekend.
Nice.
Yeah.
Shut her down, obviously.
Busted his shit, right?
I get a pic. Yeah, pulled his calf. Yeah, happened last week,
What's
obviously.
he doing?
You tell me, Bob. You tell me.
Running? Was he racing people in the street?
My dad's not like a boozer, like a big boozer at all. But like St. Patrick's Day just becomes like, it has, like he's
good
for a long time.
Squatting a picnic table with everyone sitting on it. Half pulled his calf.
Probably.
Yeah. That's what happens.
Are we drinking or not?
Yeah.
Puts it on his back like he's John Cena with the AA. Speaking of, tonight, Monday Night Raw in Brussels. John Cena returns, from what I've been told. What will heel Cena say? I will not be there. Okay, it was like a 9-hour flight. It's tough with the day job.
Sure.
But I do know Michael Cole and the boys will be absolutely crushing it. We will all watch along in awe at the greatness. Happy St. Patty's to all of you. And I already said goodbye once. I'm not doing it again. Okay? We'll continue this digitally, and we'll see you tomorrow. Slancha! All right, there we go. All right, let's go to the bathroom. Jeez Louise. That was such a good one.
It was still, great. It's still great.
It was. No, 53 was a good one.
Oh, that's what I'm saying. It was still great.
We should just want the black.
Yeah.
Just let it sit for 90 seconds.
And people can just read all the shit that's on the screen still.
Sports Center, after us. I don't know if we should take pride in this or not.
Up.
Yeah.
Nice.
Hey,
Huge.
Good show, though. We like the people that host that show.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Without a doubt.
They like us as well, which is very cool of them. And I think it's doing good. So if we were just leave 90 seconds deader, that would kind of fuck them a little bit.
Good point.
Which we would not want to do to them.
No.
Ever.
There are others.
Well.
I'm joking. It's another year around the sun. We're older. We're more mature now.
Yeah. That's how it works.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right. Ladies and gentlemen, here's to you. Here's to the dream. Here's to us from the whole damn team. Can't thank you enough for wearing your green. Happy St. Patty's. Slancha, everybody. We'll see you on the other side. Cheers.
They can run it. They can spin it. They can kick it. This Buckeyes team is playing football at a level nobody else in the country is playing right now.
really do not deserve to be on there.
They all commit and love what's going on in that weight room. They all commit and love what Jim Harbaugh's preaching. And everybody in the building's happy. Everybody's like excited to be there.
On first row, a lot of pressure in the first row. Second row was on here.
It is infectious what they got going on. And how many owners are spending $300 million on a new facility just for the practice facility?
This is Butler Birdies. Wow!
Oh my God! Oh shit! In the bunker.
Great shot. But then for them to do it upright for the last couple, it's like, look out for the Chargers, dude.
Mm-hmm.
Look out for the Chargers.
Coach. Hey, we got a gift for you. Here we go. Okay, so we missed your birthday, we missed Christmas. We couldn't
Whoa, look at that.
Your perspective on high five is one of the greatest things we've ever seen. So a long-time favorite Ben?
I love the high five. Yeah, give each other a high five.
Boom!
Damn.
Boom!
Damn.
Boom! Boom!
Oh my God!
Wow! Boom!
So we wanted to make you basically something that you could high five. My dad made this.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
He is talented.
Yeah, boom.
Keep that feeling.
Yeah, boom. Yeah, boom, boom. And we tested it. I think you can get a pretty good pop if you need. Yeah.
That is incredible.
Obviously, national champion, Michigan man, and greatest high five.
Yeah.
Because of what you brought for the high five world.
Oh, yeah.
He tried to give a handshake to that particular high five trophy. Did break the hand off. We had to put it back on.
Way to go, handshake.
Oh, no! Oh, no!
There we go.
We have so much respect for you.
You guys just roll deep. This would be entourage level, wouldn't it?
To be honest, we didn't know we were going to be able to get 11 people in here, and then we pulled up and said, you have 11. That's where it should roll 11. Yeah, always start 11. You're right. Little guys. I mean, wow, it looks like a lot of highlights against one particular team.
They played more than one game. Why do they have all these TVs for one game?
Imposing our will.
This sucks.
Party in the backfield. No one. We mean no one. Outbeats us to Hutton. This might be close.
I love that Chargers team even more now.
If you were to touch this grass, it would feel as if the history of football was kind of one with your soul, one with your body. And then you look at the views, the sand... Gabriel. Mountains with the cotton candy clouds, the way the sun will rise and then the sun will set. And as the sun is setting tonight, there's going to be a football game taking place. You're talking about movie stuff. What do you think it is about your team in that locker room? And why do you think you guys have been able to show up every week?
I think the buy-in on our team is unbelievable. We talk about a player-led team. I think a lot of people say that, but so rarely do you actually see it.
Two Goliath Big Ten teams. What a magical matchup here in the Rose Bowl. And watching Ohio State do what they did to Tennessee, it felt good for the North. It did. It felt good for the bowl.
Look at that field.
God, look at those mountains.
Look at those mountains. San Gabriel Mountains. There's the field.
The San Gabriel.
San Gabriel Mountains.
I believe that means the Gabriel.
All parties and all agree that it's in the best interest of everybody and public safety that we postpone the game for 24 hours.
AJ Hawk's working for the bowl.
Hello, beautiful people, and welcome to beautiful Pasadena, California, the granddaddy of them all, the 111th Rose Bowl, which will be taking place on the most beautiful field in the history of football. The Oregon Ducks, who are the Big Ten champs, will take on the Ohio State Buckeyes. The college football playoff is obviously in the middle of a transition era, but we go back in time into a movie-like setting to battle in the Big Ten to see who gets to move on and who goes home. Our UFO just flew over top B-2 Smoke Bomber and in the national anthem. And on a day in the United States of America where a heinous act has happened, it's a nice reminder that we'll get your ass. You might take a shot, but you're never going to win. And 10 for Will Howard.
Same exact play action. Drops it off to Jeremiah Smith. With space. He's a monster. Jeremiah Smith. First touch is a touchdown. Time. Shot that middle at Puka. Ooh, touchdown.
See the split safeties right here. So Will Howard knows his read, looks him off, steps up in the pocket. Great throw.
Takes a shot. And what happens? Jeremiah Smith comes up with the ball. Handoff. Run to the left. Jordan James. Ram. Will Howard. Time. Oh, no. Jeremiah Smith's wide ass open. And that's a touchdown. Ohio State is kicking the living shite out of the Oregon Ducks. If Jeremiah Smith is on your team, I think you can win every game. Travion Henderson. He's at the 30, the 20, the 10. Touchdown! They can run it. They can spin it. They can kick it. This Buckeyes team is playing football at a level nobody else in the country is playing right now. Now there's a low snap. Goes left, throws back to the right. Jeremiah Smith's on the field, so that's another first down. Thus far, this game has been absolutely shite. Step it. Oh my God. That is so beautiful. You got Matt Hardy on the left there. AJ, chance.
I see it at the 47. Unfortunately, my youngest son puked all over himself and went to the hospital, so my whole family's not here anymore to hear that. No. But I'm getting some updates every once in a while. He seems to be doing not much better. He puked over the whole section. Jeez. Instant urgent care, instant hospital.
Oh, no.
What type of shite was he eating? Is someone making salmon down here? We came down here and smelled like fish.
Look at this. For those that have never been here, I would recommend coming and checking it out. Although this particular game was absolute shite. Woo! Roll ball.
Why? Let's go.
This show stinks, and the fact that you listen, we are very, very thankful for.
McAfee on the line with a gorgeous assist. The all-time leading tackler for the Green Bay Packers.
You pig!
Damn it!
Be a friend, tell a friend something nice could change their life. Hello, beautiful people, and welcome back to our humble abode, the Thunderdome, on this St. Paddy's Madness, March 17th, 2025. Hour 3 of the program starts now. Paddy's! Nailed it. AJ's wearing a green hoodie. You know it's a big day. It is St. Patrick's Day. We hope you are all enjoying the hell out of it, or at least mentally having a moment of happiness and enjoyment. You know, all because your Irish family and friends, you know, decided to make this a holiday way back. I actually got a chance to celebrate St. Patrick's Day in Ireland one time. And you know, everybody says like, well, it's not the same in America as in Ireland. America ruined it. America ruined it. They were very boozed up on St. Patrick's Day in Ireland where I was, but they did it like the night before. I was in this like smaller town. They did it the night before into the morning, had a parade through the town. And then it was kind of over after the parade. Everybody like kind of called it quits. I don't know if that town is like every town, but that was the town I was in. And you're pretty exhausted at the end of it, but you're definitely pretty banged up too. And the parade is obviously fun and you go through the entire town, everybody's shit-faced, and then you're kind of done for the afternoon. So I think they did celebrate it over there. I assume it is different than over here because over here it's just a lot of people saying, we can get hammered because the Irish are having a day today, and that's okay too. We currently have a live camera on the Temple Bar in Dublin, Ireland. Sláinte to all parties enjoying themselves. Love the lighting. Love the lighting. Love the shamrocks. I love that we walked through that area and certainly remember all of it.
Yeah, without a doubt. No doubt.
You know, that is that's the best part. AJ, we can't wait to get back over to beautiful Dublin. Ain't that accurate?
Dublin's pretty awesome, man. It was my first time ever getting to step foot over there, and yeah, the people. Everything's about the people. Like obviously the old history, tradition, everything about it, but the people are all like Sheamus. Which look at Sheamus. He's like the nicest, most fun dude you could ever be around.
I said this at the beginning. nicest until not. Like that's the thing.
It's chopping you.
I said this
in a good way.
Yeah, in a good way, obviously. But also, if you want some, come get some. That is.
Yes.
I said that at the beginning of the show that we're having a couple Italians on the show today, and Izzo and Pitino, and it's like the Italian and the Irish. You do the research are like the. Hey, these are blue collar.
One and the same.
Blue bloods. These are the blue collar blue bloods here, the Irish and the Italian. So it is I think it's a very similar group of humans. And whenever we got over there, not scared of shit talk, not scared of shit talk, which is blue collar community, which we all come from one. So I think that's why we adapted so easily over there. But just willing to have a good time too. If this is what you want to do, let's do it. Live music everywhere. I had I can't wait to get back.
Oh, so pumped.
I cannot wait. I'm going to do it differently this time.
What do you mean?
Why?
Well, we're going to make sure that the audience can hear our show so that our show isn't just me chugging beers to a crowd of a couple hundred Irish lads who are packed into J.R. Mahon's over there having a good old time, which I would recommend to all those people that we just saw in Dublin. Go to J.R. Mahon's. Good one. It is a great pub.
That's
stories, great time, good people. But it was packed in. Nobody could hear us, Everybody's being quiet. And these Irish lads are like, hey, pal, we're having a Friday here,
Trying to get fucked up.
And you're kind of...
Come on, live.
We can't even hear what you're saying. We can see you. We can't hear you. So that's when the beer chugging started. It was like, hey, here we go. Thanks for coming out. You can't hear a word we're saying, but let's go ahead and do that. And then one thing led to another. I think I did 10, 12 of them. And Dance from Mrs. Saban.
Yep.
Obviously
Yes,
a lot of...
That was awesome.
Talked to a local American football coach.
Yeah.
He was awesome.
He was good.
That was a good time. And then got a chance to kind of meet everybody that was out and about in the city, felt like. Okay. And saw a lot of different places. And it was a good time. I legitimately can't wait to get back. And happy St. Patty's to everybody over there and in the United States, recreating what we did, over there, either today or yesterday or Saturday. A lot of people had their St. Patrick's Day celebrations over the weekend, obviously. So, congrats to everybody surviving or thriving currently on this St. Patrick's Day, AJ.
Yeah, it reminded me. I was walking with Sheamus when I got separated from the pack. I walked with Sheamus somewhere that night after the show, and we're just walking. There's people everywhere, and all of a sudden he's like, "Oh, hey, there's," and he goes and he hugs this girl. He goes, "Hey, AJ, meet my sister." And his sister was right there, standing outside some like the awesome building that they were at. And I never asked him, like, hey, did you know shit? Did you just randomly walk? Like, I hope you guys worked this out. If not, this is awesome. And we hugged her, met her, it was great. And then we just kept moving, and she went in her direction as well. I'm like, I never got to ask Sheamus, like, did you guys talk before this?
And does Sheamus call everybody that he knows his sister?
Yeah, is that actual sister?
Oh, that's my brother. That's my brother.
He might be right. He might be right.
Yeah, I mean, Sheamus is the greatest.
He is the man.
He is so much fun. Him on that flight over there.
Oh,
just the best. Holding court, his seat was at the perfect spot as he was just pouring. We delayed our trip 45 minutes.
Strictly.
Because Sheamus was trying to find proper mugs.
That's right. He did.
Proper Guinness mugs from a proper pub. He goes, I finally found a place. He gave like a put over some bar we've never heard of. Hey, here, Magali's is over.
It's great.
Yeah, it's a great bar. And then Paulie over there in Jersey. I assume that it's my brother. I'm surprised he didn't say.
Yeah.
It's my brother. All right, let's talk about some news. Happy St. Patrick's Day, everybody. And congrats to Tim surviving another one. That's good news.
Kind of.
Pulled a calf.
Yeah.
Strained a calf.
Not 100%.
He said he did it last week, just kind of leaked into the weekend.
Yeah, I saw him limping. That's not true.
Yeah. He was doing calf raises over here on the steps. I walked in. He was over there. I got to work this thing out. What happened? Strained my calf. When did you do that? Last week. Oh, really? Wasn't St. Patrick's Day celebration on Saturday? No. What do you think?
Why is he lying?
Yeah, it was last week. It was hurt. I'm like, all right, Tim. He needs to get better because what he's doing in this weight room on a daily basis is awesome. Have you seen this guy in here? Hey, we're talking.
Tim?
Yeah.
I believe it.
And I'm telling him he can get on some science. Like at his age, there's a lot of things, that if you wanted to get like all the way back, like could easily do it. He goes, I'm not doing that. I'm like, all right, okay. It would help maybe even with this calf or something. I don't need it. All right. Shout out to Tim McAfee. Happy St. Patrick's Day to him. Some football news we haven't chatted about. Cooper Kupp. We officially get some numbers. 3 years, $45 million deal in total. And I don't think I fully understood the significance of him going back to Seattle. I guess he's from outside of Seattle, obviously played college in that state. And he talked about, having Washington back across his chest, and then the letter, and then like the response of the people, the boys coming home. It's like that is really what they're selling. And in a time where the Seattle Seahawks are potentially losing fans that they can definitely regain, but they've certainly lost interest of some of their fan base. Some of the 12s have certainly seemingly not had as much optimism about what's going on with the Seahawks than they had in the past, especially moving on from Pete Carroll, moving on to this new era. Other teams were actually taking over the stadium in primetime games. Never happened in the history of my understanding of the Seattle Seahawks. Bringing a hometown kid back, especially one that is as beloved as it appears as Cooper Kupp is in Washington, good move business-wise. Also, get Sam Darnold a weapon, good move football-wise. I like this a lot for the Seattle Seahawks, AJ.
I think it makes sense on all ends. Obviously, Cooper gets to come home and everyone, all the fanfare with that, but they need him. Like, they need Cooper Kupp to step in day one and be the man and be a stud for Sam Darnold. So it's going to be huge for that whole receiver room. But, yeah, Cooper Kupp, like we've said a million times on here, when healthy, is one of the best receivers in the NFL. The question is, how long can he stay healthy?
And I think there was a report that the Seahawks can get out of the Sam Darnold deal. I think Florio reported the Seahawks can get out of the Sam Darnold contract after 1 year, $37.5 million. So I don't know exactly how that all comes to be. The structure allows the Seahawks to escape the contract after 1 year and $37.5 million. While it's generally frowned upon for teams to scrap contracts when the guarantee flips from injury only to full in the early days of the waiver period, that's what the Raiders did with Derek Carr in 2023. The good news for the player is that it gives him a head start on free agency by more than a month. If the Seahawks pick up the second year of the Darnold contract at $27.5 million, it's a 2-year, $65 million deal. That's an average of $32.5 million per year. Okay, so it's a 1-year deal with a 2-year option by the team coming up next year. $37.5 million this year, then a 2-year option team side after the season ends before free agency period opens up. So I wonder why that was the structure that Sam Darnold agreed to. How much was he being offered at other places? And is this another opportunity for him to bet on himself and play great ball while making good money?
Yeah, another thing talked about in the article and just about the contract was how, towards the end of the year, if Seattle isn't having a good year, it would be a situation where he might get benched because of his injury guarantee for next season. So
just like what happened with Derek Carr.
Just like what happened with Derek Carr. And Dan Jones is who they referenced with the Giants just this past season, because that's exactly what happened with them. That's why they benched him, so they wouldn't have to pay him anything.
So the deal is, you're not our Dan Jones and Derek Carr. You are not in our next year plans, so we're not paying you any next year's money right now. And you might injure yourself walking down the steps. Mm-hmm. Isn't that what they said, Derek Carr, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. Kept him get out of here.
Turned his fob off. Yep. He can't get in, but he goes from starter for however many years, not 10, whatever it was, from the transition from Oakland over to Las Vegas as well. He goes for starter, and then, you're not allowed in the building. How about that? We'll get your shit, okay, out of your locker, because we don't want, on the bag. So you're not getting hurt here. If we haven't made this point clear enough, you will not be around, and we will move forward. And then he's come out and been like, I wish it was a little different. I wish I could have said goodbye to a couple people. In the time, I don't think he said anything negative. If I recall, I talked to him at the Pro Bowl afterwards, and I asked him about it, and he was just said all the right things, did all the right things. He ends up with the Saints. They give him a big deal. He's a starter coming up next year, but that was an interesting situation. Daniel Jones was different because they wanted to keep him around. They just wanted him to do defensive stuff.
Practice squad safety.
Yeah, hey, you're going to be all over here. Half speed now. Let's not get too good at defensive end because then we got to maybe play you. We don't want to do that, remember? So let's not do too much good stuff. And then he asked for his release, ends up with the Vikings, now with the Indianapolis Colts. So those contracts are so many interesting little things because of precedent that has happened. Anytime something has happened in the past, people lean on that. And that's why everything happening for a first time is so damn important.
Well, and like you said, it really does make you wonder what other offers he got. Because, when you really dive into this, this isn't that. I mean, granted, it gives him another opportunity to kind of, prove himself. But for what he did, this really isn't that much security. There is a chance, they're a new team. Their offensive line isn't as good as Minnesota's was. He's going to have, Cooper Kupp, but then in Jigba, they're losing two of those receivers. There is a scenario where you could see he doesn't have a great year and he does get benched at the end of the year.
And there's a chance he goes on and balls.
For sure. Yeah.
And then, everything activates. only team decision is an interesting forfeiture. You know, like after this year, it's like team decides whether or not they want to implicate or imply the next two, or implicate in what's the word? There?
Like activate?
Whatever. There's a word somewhere.
Implant? No.
No. What? Institute the next 2 years of the deal. Impale. Yeah. They want to impale Sam Darnold's bank account with the next 2 years of this deal. They can do that. That's interesting because you would think you would at least want a little bit of a say there. I don't know how often this takes place. I don't. Was Sam Darnold offered by Minnesota?
Yeah, that's. I mean,
what was he offered by Minnesota?
It's reported he was offered by the Steelers.
Was he offered? Okay, so it's like West Coast, maybe.
It must have been similar. It must have been similar situations, though. Similar, like there's tiers to contracts. You know, some people have. You know, it might look like a 5-year deal, but it's really a 2-year deal, and then it's like year by year. The team has a decision after that. But if you're an owner, if you're a GM, you would like every player on the roster to have a contract like this where every single year they get to make a decision. Hey, if you live up to it and you earn it, yep, we'll pick it up on the next league year, and you'll have another year under your belt. But yeah, this is definitely a team-friendly situation.
Yeah, because they're negotiating at this year's prices, but salary cap's going to go up and potential value is going to go up, and you're stuck in it whether you like it or not. It's that's good. Hey, Schneider's driving a good business up.
Oh, yeah. Well, in Vegas, Vegas was tied to Darnold, but you could kind of make the assumption they picked Geno Smith over him because they ended up trading for him and gave something up instead of going after Darnold. But with Washington, we do kind of have to remember it's no income. It's just like Florida. You're kind of getting that entire
great tax
deal.
benefits in the state of Washington. Not Washington, D.C., but in the state of Washington, you have great. I wonder, because remember, they came out and said Geno Smith was offered the same deal.
Yes.
I wonder if it was this type of deal, and Geno was like,
probably,
that's no. Because they said 35 to 40. This is 37 and a half. That would be right in between 35 to 40. So now we know a little bit more about why Geno opted basically to be traded out of Seattle and turned down their deal. Probably because of that.
Yeah.
That is probably the reason why.
Makes sense.
1,000%.
Okay.
Especially after being proven, being there for a few years, you know.
Now everything's starting to come together, isn't it? Everything's starting to come into focus.
Yeah.
A little bit.
Like, what the hell's going on with Aaron Rodgers? I saw him playing flag football this weekend. Looks like he could still spin it. He was standing flat-footed, just like this right here. Flat-footed, didn't even move. Boom, bang, pow, touchdown. Look at this. Boom, bang, pow, out route, running back, thank you, touchdown. Feeding. That guy might be a player.
Hold on.
We should think about maybe moving him in there. What did you hear from Aaron about the flag football tournament? And obviously he does this every year. And the reason why I know that is because normally when he's at this, it does become news because there's something that has to be done. And it's for charity. It's given back. He's done this every year that he's been on our particular program. I don't know how many years going back. I don't know if he won this year. I don't know if Josh's team won. There's a little bit of shit talk, which we love. But NFL quarterbacks, former NFL quarterbacks, take a team, and then they play in an actual tournament, and then they raise money. It's a beautiful event, and every time Aaron's at it, there's a conversation happening around him. What have you heard about the tournament, and what have you heard Aaron's going to do, AJ? Just tell us.
Honestly, I wish I knew. I wish I knew what was taking so long. I really do.
Man.
Like, for real. I got questions as well from my side. So I don't know what the deadline might be. I don't know when a decision would come, and I don't really know what's going on behind the scenes. But what could be holding it up now, and when does it happen?
You tell. Those are the questions.
That's what he's asking.
Those are the questions.
This one's I don't know. For real. This one, I don't know what's happening. For real. I'm confused.
Okay, so as the days have moved into at least a week, you know, there's never been any indicator that Aaron was going to give an answer. There's never been anything from Aaron's team that says he's making a decision. There's been nothing from Aaron Rodgers about him playing ball again. Like, there is literally nothing. And there's been cities that have gone through full cycles. This guy's going to be our quarterback, all the way to, fuck this guy. I'm sick of this guy. He don't want to be our quarterback. And it's like, he hasn't said a thing. He's just kind of waited on the beach. With a blanket around him, with obviously wired headphones.
That beautiful sun.
With a sunset, with our last sights on this continental United States of the sun. And he's contemplating, wondering, trying to figure out the life that is Aaron Rodgers. And there's obviously a blood moon last week. So the views were obviously spectacular out there. So there's all that going on as well. So it's a fascinating dilemma. Because there's reports that came out now that said the Minnesota Vikings are trying to figure out what the fuck they want to do. And Aaron's allowing them the opportunity to figure out what they want to do. Once again, I've been told nothing. I have asked. I've certainly asked. AJ certainly hasn't asked. AJ said, I'm not. That's my friend. I'm not going to fucking. Hey.
Have the Vikings said anything, though? Have the Vikings said anything like, hey, JJ's our guy?
Nothing has been said by the Minnesota Vikings, which also leads to the mystery of it all. I believe Schefter said on the Schefter podcast last week that nothing has indicated that the Vikings and Aaron Rodgers are in there. Is that something that was said?
He may have said that. I know that, he indicated, because I know I asked him, like, hey, is it a possibility? This was a couple weeks ago, but is it a possibility that the Vikings decide that he wants to go there? And he said he supposes it is a possibility, but nothing he has heard would suggest that they have any interest in Aaron Rodgers right now.
And Rossini has had a lot of posts, and once again, every situation's fluid, especially with Aaron. You're talking about a GOAT, but basically every situation, especially whenever it's business or free agency. I mean, look at the Milton situation. Everything is pretty fluid. So there's been multiple different, reports. But I believe Rossini last week put out a post that was like, the Minnesota Vikings are trying to figure out what they want to do in the future, and Aaron is willing to give them the opportunity to figure out what they want to do. That was the first time, really, that it was reported. We had hypothesized about Aaron going to the Minnesota Vikings a lot. Just like, hey, they need a quarterback, or they don't, in J.J. McCarthy. But they might need a quarterback. And with the way they're built to win right the fuck now. And Aaron Rodgers might not be able to run like he was able to run 10 years ago. He can still move, and he can still spin it. And in that offense, if you can spin it, I think you're in an okay spot with Kevin O'Connell. So is that a real thing? Now we sit and wait and see. And once again, Aaron has said absolutely nothing. I think Aaron is still trying to figure it all out as well. Or maybe he's just wrapping. I know less than anybody. AJ knows more than anybody, which is what everybody needs to understand.
Correct. For sure.
Which in this situation is basically nothing.
Okay.
Basically. Boom.
Basically nothing. Put it on the SeatGeek ticker. Speaking of SeatGeek.
No ticker.
Thank you to SeatGeek. Hey, the SeatGeek ticker is becoming a thing. It's on a couple other shows.
Oh, really?
Have you seen it?
I have not.
Yeah. Shout out to SeatGeek. I like that.
Okay.
That's a good play. Nobody was ever on the ticker, SeatGeek. It's good business. Yeah. It's a good move. You're on the screen. Shout out to the SeatGeek ticker, and shout out to SeatGeek as a whole. The greatest ticket buying platform on planet Earth. And, AJ?
The moon.
Over 28 million downloads. Let's assume it's near 29 million now, because this is from a month ago or so.
30.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Especially now with so many events to go to.
So many.
So many live events.
Summertime coming up, yeah.
Summertime in a living easy. Get a ticket, you can go see the. It's fucking 40 degrees outside.
Yeah, it's cold again.
It is.
I'm done with it. I started looking at houses in Puerto Rico. Yeah.
Next to the Paul brothers?
I don't know where they're at exactly, but yeah, that's what I did. I wanted to take my daughter on a nice stroll outside. I'm home for the weekend. Let's go outside. It's fucking 40 degrees. Where 30? How is it? Why is it so cold? It was just 70 degrees. This is the 5th winter we have had in this spring cycle. I'm done with it. In Puerto Rico, Zeta's point up, it's 82 and partly cloudy. I saw the same thing on my phone on my weather app.
Son of a bitch.
I said, I'm fucking going. I just want to go outside with my daughter. I can't. There's 50-mile-an-hour winds and it's 40 degrees. Okay. Shit. Jesus fucking Christ here. Come on, get some
pretty
sun.
Windy. Very windy.
So windy.
So people were scared to death in Ohio. People thought like it was going to be one of those storms like you got get in your basement, hunker down, like all that.
Neighbor's house, dock off through garage.
That's a big dock.
Through.
Also, it was windy.
Through the dock, or I don't know what it's called. Foxy grew up on a lake. The
boathouse?
Yeah, boathouse
garage.
Through the boathouse garage.
Oh, that's cool.
Oh, God.
They leave theirs up in the winter?
Yeah.
That's on them.
Yeah, fools.
That's what I've learned in this entire thing, because I was surprised by it, and they're like, nah, I shouldn't have been there. It's like, well, it's in the fucking... It's in the garage. Nah, I've never seen anything like it. These waves that are hitting.
Oh, boy.
Unbelievable. Looks like the fucking Pacific Ocean.
Yeah, it's real chop when it gets that windy.
Yeah, it was unbelievable.
Real chop.
And then the lake effect, I guess the wind, because there's nothing to stop it, just kind of, it seemingly picks up speed.
Oh, yeah, it's swirling.
That thing, we're here in a train. I'm a whole fire. I don't know if this lake life's for me, but I can get down to Puerto Rico.
Sure.
And if I was going to Puerto Rico and I want to go to a live event down there, I use SeatGeek.
Amen.
Ain't that right, AJ?
Oh, yeah.
Can we get the sun, though?
No kidding.
Can we get the sun?
No kidding.
With the warm. Which I still don't understand how that works. Okay? Never will. I'm not getting into it.
Which part?
How could be so fucking sunny and it's, like the atmosphere, blah, blah, blah. Okay. All right. Can we fucking change it? Well, we are actually, and it's ruined. It's like, okay. All right. I would just like nicer weather. Grew up in Pittsburgh, went to Morgantown, live in Indiana. Sure. I think Indiana's the windiest place, I think it is one of the windiest places at least. Obviously, there's Tornado Alley and everything over there, which sucks. Tornadoes come through here too. It is a crazy thing. It's always windy here. Every day is windy. Mm-hmm. Every day, it never stops. The wind never quits. The greatest, maybe durability and conditioning out of anything is the wind in Indianapolis, Indiana. It never wavers. It is always windy. And then whenever it's cold as shit, it's just like we get Arctic storms. Yep. And it's just blowing through town. And I thought it was done. But it turns out that little prick groundhog might have been right.
Yeah, he was.
Yeah.
I don't like it.
We're not even at that time yet.
What do you mean?
Feels like 2 more weeks.
Yeah,
It's so
like the 2
gray.
more weeks is.
It's always gray in Indiana. That's the worst part for me.
Yeah, you should see Pittsburgh, brother. I mean, that's even
way more gray.
Way more gray.
I don't know how that's possible.
We were born in the dark.
Yeah, exactly. More rain days. I don't remember what year. It was one of the years when I was living there. Yeah, maybe all of them. But it was definitely one of the years where I was like, Jesus Christ, it feels like it rains every day. More rain days than Seattle. Mm-hmm. Because everybody talks about Seattle, how it rains so much. It's like, go ahead and check Pittsburgh.
It's real?
Yeah. I don't know if it's still that way. I haven't lived there in a while. But there was a time that I assume it's the same. Rained all the time. Now, granted, there's a toughness that comes from that. Whenever you got to go outside and get smacked in the mouth with cold, wet, the worst. Mm-hmm. The worst combination in what? Cold, wet, right in the face. There's a toughness that comes with that. But yeah, rain, and then Morgantown it's, you're doing this one here. Mm-hmm. And then out here. So I almost quit. I almost said I'm going to Puerto Rico. I didn't, though. I still need all 4 seasons. Mm-hmm. Need that in my life. But I'm getting close.
Yeah.
I think I'm getting close. I'm getting soft. I'm getting close.
I mean, at this point, when you have we had a 75, 77 degree day on Friday, and you can't turn that in. There were tornado warnings on Friday night.
Yeah, it's going to happen again here this week.
But then on Saturday, I mean, you got to turn the goddamn heat on in your house. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, because you don't. It's 50 degrees in there.
I wake up in the morning and it's 52 degrees in my living room. It's like, well, that's.
Hey, listen, we know it can be worse. We understand that. We're just saying we're done with it.
Yeah,
we're done with it. So the sun needs to act accordingly. Now we did look up. Obviously, Pittsburgh receives slightly more rainfall annually than Seattle. Yeah, so it rains all the time in Seattle. Not all the time. I'll tell you why. Because it can rain more of the time, and it does in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. So this is a stage of my life I never thought I'd get to. Where I'm almost done with it. Mm-hmm. I'm almost done with it.
Yeah, I've been done with it.
I used to talk shit on the super good weather. I assume you did too, AJ. I assume you did as a guy.
Yeah, as I get older, I do understand why people will spend like 3 or 4 months down in Florida in the winter. I do understand that.
Well, here you'd have to spend 7 months maybe because you never know when it's coming back. Easy come, easy go. Each day something new. You know what, though? It's about to get warmer. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. But it doesn't matter how warm it is outside.
No, it doesn't.
Or how cold it is outside. Mm-hmm. It's all about what's the temperature at the show. Mm-hmm. And it's going to be perfect. And it's going to be electrifying, especially whenever you buy your tickets from our friends at SeatGeek.
Oh, yeah.
Now, SeatGeek is offering right now a $30 off with the code PAT2025. PAT2025. $30 off to, new or repeat purchasers. There are some restrictions apply. I do believe if it's more than $30, you can't. They're not going to owe you money. Okay, how that's going to be. They'll actually rate the tickets for you. If it's green, it's a good ticket. If it's red, bad ticket. Shit ticket. Hey, you can get a better ticket somewhere else. But if it's green, it's like, hey, good ticket, good price. We scan the entire internet for you. You're welcome. Shout out to SeatGeek. You can also scan a QR code. No, that's for ESPN Bet, which, by the way, going to be very active over the next 3 weeks or so.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Might be gettable, okay? Might be gettable. With where they are.
It might be. You might be right.
They might be gettable.
It might have some crazy promos coming up.
Yeah, maybe some zany promos.
Read the fine print.
But definitely do that.
Sure.
But then maybe some late movement.
Yeah.
Maybe some.
You might be right.
Maybe some late movement. I haven't kept up with it with college basketball, but some of the sports books a little later than the others. Some sports books much more comfortable with their shit in making decisions. Other people following decisions that are being made in places. So let's remember that as we attack this March Madness, if you're gambling, that maybe we got an opportunity here. We have not done an ESPN Bet March Madness yet, so we do not know. And you only find out in real time. You only find out when the bullets are flying. So let's keep an eye on that. Because some people are creating the lines and some people are watching others. And it's like people can get got.
Yep.
Gumpy, who you like in this tourney? Who is your team of destiny?
So I was on Alabama, but Grant Nelson, their big man, he's getting imaging done on his leg today. If he's out, that changes things. I actually like Tennessee.
Okay, Tennessee played Florida well, lost to them obviously in the SEC championship, but that SEC tournament was a grind.
Yeah, that was a tough one.
All season they got them calloused up. Did you hear Sankey, AJ, as he spoke about the SEC team? He said there's currently 14 sports being played. At one point in the last couple of weeks, there's 14 sports being played. 12 of them had an SEC team at number one. So, yeah, people are mad about 14 teams in the tournament. Well, we can do that in every fucking sport if we want to. And it's he didn't say that exactly, but kind of. They got a lot of pride down there in their sports, and it's paying off, especially if you look at the current dance.
No, I love how Sankey came on and instantly he talks about, hey, I can go through each one. I'll go through each team and tell you exactly all their quad wins or whatever. When did we start using the whole quad situation?
That feels like this year. That feels like this year.
Yeah.
They didn't use it, though, by the way. They talked about it. They didn't use it because West Virginia, a lot of quads. We had ATVs out of the fucking barn.
Nope.
And UNC.
What is a quad one victory?
That's good teams. I think it's like.
But like, who decides a good team? Like ranked?
WVU beat Gonzaga when they were ranked third in the goddamn country.
Ken Palm, right? That's the rankings. I don't know what that is.
They don't use him anymore.
Okay.
I would assume there's 300 some D1 basketball schools. You divide that by 4 and you figure out the quads.
Yeah, and Chris Anderson, Mountaineer journalist, this guy was on it last night. This guy was on it. He's the one that found a $104,000 bonus, I do believe. Chris Anderson was like, fuck this shit. Basically all night is what I was reading from Chris. Chris Anderson had me fired up. I just want to let Chris Anderson know I appreciate his work, his due diligence. This is one he said, listed his very first team left out of the NCAA tournament team. Obviously, WVU had 6 quad one victories this season. The last 3 teams in, UNC, Xavier, remember them, and San Diego State, they have 5 quad wins combined. Okay?
What?
Quad one wins combined.
So what happened?
You tell us, AJ. That's
man.
why the governor of West Virginia is currently doing a press conference with an actual National Corrupt Athletic Association banner in front of him at the press conference. He said, I want information. I want the notes from the meeting. I want to know who was where, when, what happened. That is why I'm doing this today.
Well, and I think that's why so many people are as pissed as they are, because like you said, if you want to eliminate this whole thing, then you just got to be a little bit better and you'll get in. But
agreed.
But Joe Lunardi, who's the godfather of bracketology,
tough to book.
Yeah, very tough to book, tough to get a hold of. Although we did look at his rates, and maybe there is something that could be done there. But,
his booking fee is good.
Yeah, exactly.
Might get him next year for 2 weeks after.
Exactly.
Might not be real.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But he he typically gets 98 or 99% of the teams correctly in the field in their seed. He had West Virginia as an 8 seed. It wasn't one of the last 4 in, one of the 11s in the play-in game. So everyone assumed that they were comfortably in, not even anywhere near really on the bubble. So when it comes out that they're the first team out of the tournament, it's kind of like, well, how do you go from being, in that 52, 51 spot at large to completely missing the tournament? It just doesn't make sense.
And then there's other teams that are pissed that are in the tourney. There's a lot of people about the seeding. They're like, well, how is this the seeding? We're in the tournament. So I guess there's always going to be something that you can begrudge or whatever. But it feels like this year there's a lot of people just being like, this is bullshit. Because it's not just West Virginia people. A lot of West Virginia people are saying this is bullshit for West Virginia. And now UNC being one of those schools that's always on top in the basketball world, or has been historically. And then also Bubba Cunningham, the athletic director, is being the head of the selection committee, being a part of it. People don't love whenever they feel like they're being bamboozled, especially if it's a big name, and especially if West Virginia, a school that I don't want to say gets little to no respect, but gets little to no respect, is getting the butt end of it. Easy to create babyface heel here in this particular story. But it's not just this situation. There's a lot of other situations in the seeding where people are like, what was the thought?
Yeah, Michigan.
What was Michigan?
They're 5 seed, and they just won the Big Ten. What are we even talking about?
So I think what the governor of West Virginia is saying is, we just want little transparency.
Some explanation here.
I like that he's doing it. Good for him. I'm glad he's doing that.
He was the same dude. We had him on the show. Remember? He was the Attorney General. We had him on the show.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, he was pushing for, what's that called? Employment? No. Yeah. I think it was in the employment world. Anyways, they weren't letting people transfer. And then he was like, well, if they're able to make $1 million over here and they're not able to here, aren't you kind of...
Yeah, they're like breaking labor laws or something.
Yeah, labor,
like
like some labor laws. Aren't you kind of withholding, whatever it is? He took him to court and won. And then that's kind of
started the transfer.
I mean, kind of started the whole damn thing in that whole thing. So he's not scared to go after and sue, like actually go about it. He's been in there before, and he is a former Attorney General, so he is a suit. So like that is kind of his MO, especially when he feels like his state has been bamboozled, wronged, robbed.
What's the banner say on the podium?
National Corrupt Athletic Association.
I mean, that's a great touch.
That's
Great
gold.
touch to let people know exactly where you stand.
Bro, a fucking governor walking right up to that.
In case you guys are confused.
Huge flag.
This is what this is about right here. If you don't hear me today, see me today, okay? We're in this fucking country, and we're sick of this. We're right here. Guy here feels the same way. We're together. Don't need to say anything else. West Virginia needs to be in a tournament. If they're able to turn this around this quick, it'll be unbelievable.
It might happen.
I talked to
God hope.
I talked to Jimmy Seafood, John. Yeah, he's a big UNC fan.
Monodonculus.
I guess I didn't-
Papadopoulos?
That's not his name.
Oh.
That's the name of the team that Pitino coached.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
And
Makes that up.
Greece.
Yeah.
Menadakis?
I believe it is Minidakis.
What's
yeah.
that?
At least.
And great chefs, by
What's
the way.
Menadakis?
I think that's his last
That's
name.
his last name.
Okay. Yeah.
Wait, look this up, please. John Menadakis, I believe.
It is.
Mine was funny. Okay.
You don't think his name is Menadakis?
That's not a real.
Minadakis.
Boom.
Oh, man.
John Menadakis.
Okay.
Okay, Greek lad who owns Jimmy's Famous Seafood over there in Baltimore. Fantastic crab cakes. They did start a few things, though. You know, like those cicadas that came out of the ground for the first time in 40 years. You remember them?
Oh, yeah.
Humming and buzzing. They had a cicada parade.
Yeah.
Okay,
Oh, yeah.
over there. And they're the ones that started the entire thing.
What else?
People were talking. Well, now we got a little bit more information.
What was the thing that you heard from them?
Well, there was a little bit of convo about, you know, COVID-18.
No, the New York Times said they came from a lab leak in China. They released
No,
an
that
article.
was COVID-19.
Oh, okay, sorry.
We're talking about COVID-18. Nonetheless, Jimmy's Famous Seafood is a great place with great people, with great food. Gonna have to get past some of the things that they've done.
Yeah.
Every time I go there, I have a blast.
Super nice. Redid it.
He's a
Really nice.
whole new bar deck area
Used to be a shithole.
with
Now-
kind of.
now
I
it
think,
is
I
so
think
nice.
people did kind of say that. Old school, not a shithole. Old school.
Sorry. Yeah.
And they've updated everything. Good business. These two kids, Menadakis and his brother, they got it when they were in high school.
So
Dad
the
passed away.
Menodakises?
Good kids.
Good kids. Good men.
Good men now.
Good dads. Great chefs. The mom's right in the bakery.
Yeah. Bakeries.
Delicious.
So good.
Delicious.
Chef's kiss.
It's downstairs.
Yeah.
Go to the bakery.
Chefs do kiss their mother, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. That's good news.
Because they're good chefs, you just said.
Yeah.
The Menodakises.
Yeah, talking about this could be a Menadakis situation.
Yeah, the Menodakises.
No, it's Dakis, I believe. These are the brothers right here, okay? The one on the left, John, huge UNC fan, okay? Diehard UNC fan. So he put out a smart-ass tweet to me, you know. Oh, sorry you guys didn't get in, you know. And I told him they need to acknowledge the fuckery and forfeit their spot to the West Virginia Mountaineers. Do what's right for college basketball.
Agreed.
Do what's right for the future. UNC says they love college ball. They're one of the staples and pillars of college ball. Do what's right. Forfeit your spot and call West Virginia and say, guess what? You're in. And then also, give us all your jump warm-ups.
Yep.
Cleats, shoes. We want all the fits.
Exactly.
We want all the
All
Jordan,
your Jordan stuff. Send it all to me.
all your Jordan stuff.
I'm sure they'll do that, right? They'll do that.
Menadakis, I don't think he responded. I don't know if he's thinking about it, but it's one of those things where this might motivate this team too, you know, like immensely. They're playing against San Diego State, and
They slapped the floor.
San Diego State. The CBS people were like, got UNC beating San Diego State. Just did a 20-minute thing about they do not deserve.
That being said, they're going to make it to the Sweet 16.
Yeah, that was an interesting little dilemma I think everybody was having, but That's Madness March. All right, we're going to get the hell out of here. Monday Night Raw starts in like 20 minutes, I think, on Netflix. Can't wait to watch. Cannot wait to watch. Bummed I'm not there, but this day, on this day.
Where are they again?
They're in Brussels.
Jean-Claude Van Damme. Is he going to show up? That's where he's from.
Who knows?
Who knows?
Good.
Who knows?
Sweet.
You never know what's going to happen with Jean-Claude Van Damme. But on this day, after a selection with the thing, with the day, with the poem, with the halva, that was going to be very, very difficult. Very, very appreciative of everybody at the WWE. Basically saying, like, hey, you know, and I'm going to hate watching it, to be honest with you, because I'm, you know, I need to wear a headset in here while we watch it.
Yeah, you should.
I need to put a headset on and fucking get in there.
Call it.
For sure.
On a road WrestleMania.
Yeah, practice. Call it.
Yeah.
Get in Cole's ear. Get in Cole's ear to throw him some gems. Can you get wired up so you can at least drop a few things that you want him to say?
I never know what he's wired to, because you know he's deaf, so he's got his hearing aid things inside of his head, like his implants. Then he's got another headphone on top of that, which is what I'm hearing and everybody's hearing. But his ear things can Bluetooth to other stuff. So, like, you could be talking to him one time, and no way. Because his actual ears are just on a video that's on his phone, and he is just completely checked out. Like, the biggest noise-canceling operation of all time, you know, because he needs those things to hear. But then every once in a while, it'll be like one ear, and then he'll take you off his ear, and then he'll put you on a speaker. It's like, but then he has the headphones on the outside there. So I think I could maybe hack into one of those ears if I really wanted to. But I'm just going to take in the entertainment that is Michael Cole.
Hell yeah.
It's going to be hard not to be there, though. We're on the road to WrestleMania.
Yeah.
Getting close.
A month away.
Real close. Real close. Never again. Never again. Okay, we're going to get out of here. Let's go enjoy that, and then we'll be back tomorrow. We'll be off Thursday, Friday for the tourney, you know, March Madness. And, yeah, it's a wonderful time to be alive. We can't thank you enough. Big night out's going to be cool. Big night out's going to be really cool. Big night out's going to be really cool.
Sold out in what, hour and 10 minutes?
92 minutes. Hour 32. Secondary market available, I do believe, which I don't love, but I mean, it was kind of expected. Don't love how
there's no way to stop that, is there?
Nah, I don't know. A lot of artists have tried, you know. A lot of artists have tried to figure it out. Taylor Swift has a good angle. I think there's a couple comedians that have a good business plan around it. It's not easy. I don't know how you do it, especially with how good these, you know, ticket scalpers are.
Yeah, the best in the biz.
Good news is you get a ticket. I promise it'll be worth it. You know, there's some of those ticket prices are absurd, and I would not spend that for anything. But I promise it would be worth the price of admission. I'm going to try my best. And I think the show is packed. The show is packed.
Oh, yeah.
And people are now brainstorming, because even more so, because they saw the reaction. So now I think people are understanding, oh, this is actually a thing. You know, because it wasn't really real until, okay, now this is an actual thing that's going to happen. So then now everybody that said, yeah, I'm in, started like saying, oh, I could also, and it's like, oh, all of a sudden the show getting a little bit better. All of a sudden everything's starting to like even, what I'm saying is the people that are going to be part of the show are giving like, I think they were very excited about the reaction and what the possibilities are here. So I think it's like brainstorming starting to happen even more.
Love it.
So it's coming together really, really well. Really, really well. All the technical aspects have been completed, which is a big deal.
Yeah.
Those have to get tested, though.
Yeah.
Those all have to get tested. The stage, hilarious. It's part of the show, though. Stage is part of the show.
Has to be.
You know, there's some big things that are part of the show, but those have to be built. So whenever I'm pitching what I would like it to be built like, hilarious convos. And I appreciate these people for taking me serious whenever I'm saying the things that I'm saying. Need it to be able to smoke one side. Okay, need to be able to have smoke come out of one side of that, because we don't know if we're going to need. We can definitely do smoke on one side. Should we do smoke maybe on both sides though, and then alternate? Yes.
Good idea.
Yes, good idea. See, I would. Yes, that would be good. Lighting needed to be able to be specific. We need the lighting to be able to be specific. Okay, what just need it to be. You know what I mean? I need it to be able to be. Needs to be able to. They're like, okay, so we can set it up so we can boom, 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 boom at any time, right? I'm like, yes, that is exactly what I'm talking about. And that's like the WWE people, you know? Like whenever you're working with like the greatest on earth at things, it's like, I think it's going to come together quite well. I do believe it's going to be streamed. Where at, though? Where at, though?
Yeah.
How will that go? What will the setup be? Will it be free? Of course. Nobody should have to pay to watch our shit. But if you're in that building, you're going to get a chance to experience a show of a lifetime and potentially walk out of there with a much bigger bank account. Over $1 million being given away in the arena. Now, granted, that should move some tickets just to begin with, because you could potentially walk in there and holy shit.
Sure.
But I think a lot of people are wondering what that means. It's like, it's going to be sweet. I think it's going to be a pretty electric environment. And shout out to the vitamins that have gotten me to this place where it's like, we could do all this. Yeah. And hopefully, it's a show that people talk about for a long time. And can't thank you all enough for the love on it. Now, let's get the fuck out of here. March Madness cooking. NFL offseason cooking. The road to WrestleMania on fire. And tomorrow we'll be back. Be a friend, tell a friend something nice. It might change their life. We're in this thing together. Happy St. Paddy's, everybody. Happy St. Paddy's Day. Enjoy the hell out of it. Shout out to the Irish. Tone?
Hell yeah. And the Romans.
St. Paddy's Day.
St. Patrick was Roman. But.
Okay, of course. Did you hear that?
Yeah, I heard it.
Well, that's why we had 2 Italian coaches on, because we wanted to,
An Italian lion? Who would have thought?
It's almost in a name. Substitute an A for no.
Can't spell lion without Italian.
You think you ruined NASA? You should Google that story, brother.
Have a great St. Patrick's Day. Unified.
You killed Jesus.
They would say, we were hired. All right. We appreciate you. Happy St. Patrick's Day. Unified. We're in this thing together. Let's have a good time. Team on me. Team on 3. Actually, team on me. Sloancha on 3. 1, 2, 3. Sloancha. Goodbye.